तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः।
वसुधा का नेता कौन हुआ, भूखंड विजेता कौन हुआ, अतुलित यश क्रेता कौन हुआ, नवग्रह प्रणेता कौन हुआ। जिसने ना कभी आराम किया विघ्नों में रहकर नाम किया, जिसने ना कभी आराम किया विघ्नों में रहकर नाम किया। नमस्कार, प्रणाम, पैलाख, सत श्री अकाल और आदाब। मैं संजना
और मैं संयम
आज शब्दों के इस महासंग्राम में आप सभी का स्वागत करते हैं।
Warm welcome to everyone present here on this auspicious day. This is the second edition of Gaura Devi National Debate Competition organized by Doon University, and both of us will be your hosts for the day. Now moving forward, we would like to introduce our guest for the day. Our chief guest of the day is Honorable Justice Sudhanshu Dulia, Supreme Court of India, who could not be present here due to some reasons. Our guest of honor, Justice U.C. Dhyani, and Joint Secretary Shri Devendra Kumar Nim, National Human Rights Commission. We are also delighted to have with us Mr. Sanjeev Chopra, Festival Director, and Mrs. Rashmi Chopra, Chairperson, Valley of Words. Our respective judges for the day are Mr. Manoj Menkar, Ms. Sunita Vijay, and Ms. Jyoti Dhawan. Doon University is extremely delighted to have you all.
मुझे ये बताते हुए अत्यंत गर्व व खुशी महसूस हो रही है कि विगत वर्ष हमने जिस मंच पर गौरा देवी की नींव रखी थी, हम आज उसी मंच पर इसका दूसरा संस्करण आयोजित कर रहे हैं। दून यूनिवर्सिटी वात्सल्य परिवार के लिए खुशी व गर्व का विषय है। विगत सत्र 38 विश्वविद्यालयों ने एक साथ गौरा देवी में भाग लिया, जिसमें जामिया विजेता बनी, और उत्साह और गर्व से हम दूसरे संस्करण में 150 पंजीकरण प्राप्त करने में सफल रहे, जिसमें 25 अंग्रेजी और 19 हिंदी से क्वार्टर फाइनल्स के लिए चयन हुए, फिर 9 अंग्रेजी और 8 हिंदी में सेमीफाइनल्स के लिए चयन हुए, और आज हमारे बीच हिंदी में 4 और अंग्रेजी में 4 फाइनलिस्ट हैं। हम उनके वक्तव्य और उत्कृष्टता के लिए सचमुच गर्वित हैं कि वे अपने सफल प्रयास से गौरा देवी के अंतिम दौर तक पहुँचे हैं।
Gaura Devi National Debate Competition is being named after Srimati Gaura Devi ji, a renowned environmentalist who played a vital role in the conservation of forests in Uttarakhand. She had been an epitome of resilience and symbol of rights and duties of the people. For this edition, Doon University collaborated with Valley of Words, Shabdavali, who have helped us in conducting such a big event and contributed in a smooth execution of the program. They have also been instrumental in getting us our sponsors, NHRC, National Human Rights Commission.
रंगमंच वह जीवन है जहां इसको जीने वाला अपने एक जीवन में दूसरों के अनगिनत जीवन अनगिनत बार जीता है। और इसी प्रेरणा के साथ आज दून विश्वविद्यालय के रंगकर्मी आप सबके समक्ष गौरा देवी जी के जीवन पर एक छोटा सा नाटक मंचन करने जा रहे हैं। तो आइए इन सभी का स्वागत करते हैं।
इन्हें छोड़ो। हम चाह रहे थे कि आप हमारे महिला मंगल दल के अध्यक्ष बन जाते।
मैं?
हाँ वो।
अरे तो और क्या, आपके पति के जाने के बाद अभी कभी कमजोर नहीं पड़े।
कुछ ना होते हुए भी आपने इतना सब कुछ कर रखा है। हमें लगता है इस पद पे आप ही को होना चाहिए।
आपने कभी हार नहीं मानी और हमेशा सबको सही राह दिखाई।
हमारी यही विनती है आपसे कि हमारा मार्गदर्शन करो।
ठीक है, अगर आप सबका यही निर्णय है तो मैं ये पद स्वीकार करती हूँ और हम सब मिलकर महिला मंगल मंडल दल का संगठन करेंगे और एक साथ मिलकर इस गांव की सारी समस्याओं का समाधान करेंगे।
देश की बेटी कैसी हो?
गौरा देवी जैसी हो,
देश की बेटी कैसी हो?
गौरा देवी जैसी हो,
देश की बेटी कैसी हो?
गौरा देवी जैसी हो।
अब सन था 1970 और ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन के अंदर अब कंपनियां और संरक्षण दल एक दूसरे के साथ लड़ रहे थे।
हम इन फॉरेन कंपनीज को एक भी पेड़ नहीं काटने देंगे। नहीं काटने देंगे, नहीं काटने देंगे। जंगल हमारी पहचान है, पहचान है, पहचान है।
सामने से हट जाओ मानो, वरना मिट्टी में गिर जाओगे।
आप मिट्टी में मिल जाओगे।
फॉरेन कंपनीज के सामने जो भी आएगा चूर चूर हो जाएगा।
चूर चूर हो जाएगा।
ये प्रकृति हमारा घर है और हमें इसे बचाना होगा।
बचाना होगा, बचाना होगा।
इन फॉरेन कंपनियों को यहाँ से भगाना होगा।
ग्लोबलाइजेशन को होता रहेगा।
होते रहेगा। वेदिकाओं के सभी मर्दों को सूचित किया जाता है
कि कंपनीज उन्हें कंपनसेट करने के लिए शहर बुलाती हैं।
मोटा पैसा मिलने वाला है।
शायद ये कंपनी हमें पैसा भी देने वाली है।
कंपनीज को बुलाया जाए।
बड़े चलो, पेड़ों को काटे चलो। बड़े चलो, पेड़ों को काटे चलो।
बढ़े
चलो, बड़े चलो, पेड़ों को काटे चलो। मोटा पैसा लाएंगे, पेड़ों को हटाएंगे। मोटा पैसा लाएंगे, पेड़ों को हटाएंगे। बड़े चलो, पेड़ों को काटे चलो। 1, 2, 3 काटो।
मैं इस देश की बेटी हूँ और मैं इसी प्रकृति के बीच में जन्मी हूँ। मैं इन पेड़ों को नहीं कटने दूँ।
और इस देश की बेटी होने के नाते मेरा ये कर्तव्य बनता है कि मैं इस देश की रक्षा करूं और इस देश की रक्षा करने से पहले मेरा कर्तव्य बनता है कि मैं इस प्रकृति की रक्षा करूं। इन पेड़ों को काटने से पहले तुम्हें हमें काटना होगा।
प्रकृति को बचाएंगे,
नई क्रांति लाएंगे।
प्रकृति को बचाएंगे,
नई क्रांति लाएंगे।
प्रकृति को बचाएंगे,
नई क्रांति लाएंगे।
प्रकृति को बचाएंगे।
नई क्रांति लाएंगे।
तो इसी तरह से गौरा देवी ने पूरी दुनिया में फैलाया नारी शक्ति का परचम।
गौरा देवी और उनके जैसे अन्य क्रांतिकारियों ने हमें जबरन शहरीकरण और अन्य समस्याओं से बचाया।
इन क्रांतिकारियों से हमें सीख लेनी चाहिए और अपने प्रकृति के प्रति हमें जागरूक होना चाहिए।
पर क्या समस्याएं अभी भी खत्म हो गई हैं? अभी भी ऐसे कई जंगल हैं जो अपनी नाश की कगार पर हैं।
तो ऐसे में क्या ये हमारा कर्तव्य नहीं बनता कि हम इस पर्यावरण की रक्षा करें?
महात्मा गांधी जी ने कहा था, बी द चेंज यू वांट टू सी इन द वर्ल्ड। तो आज हमारे उत्तराखंड को जरूरत है एक और गौरा देवी की, जो कि आप, मैं, हम सब में से कोई भी हो सकता है, लेकिन शुरुआत हमें खुद से ही करनी होगी।
मैं बनूंगी गौरा देवी, मैं भी बनूंगी गौरा देवी।
हम भी बनेंगे गौरा देवी। पेड़ों को बचाएंगे,
नई क्रांति लाएंगे, पेड़ों को बचाएंगे, नई क्रांति लाएंगे, पेड़ों को बचाएंगे, नई क्रांति लाएंगे, पेड़ों को बचाएंगे, नई क्रांति लाएंगे।
Now, after this energetic performance by our students of theatre, we would now proceed to our next event, that is the felicitation ceremony, for which I'll first of all request I'll request Honorable VC Ma'am to kindly felicitate Justice UC Dhyani. Honorable Justice UC Dhyani has joined Uttar Pradesh Judicial Services on 5th November 1979 and served as various judicial positions in the state. Served as Judicial, Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs Secretary, Government of Uttarakhand and Legal Advisors for His Excellency. We welcome you, sir, to Doon University. I would now like to request Professor H.C. Purohit, Dean School of Management, to kindly felicitate Devendra Kumar Nim, Joint Secretary, NHRC. I would now like to request Professor Chetna Pokhriyal, Dean School of Languages and Coordinator Culture Committee, to felicitate Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, film 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 director. Sorry. Festival director, Valley of Words. Extremely sorry, sir. I would also like to request ma'am to felicitate Mrs. Rashmi Chopra, Chairperson, Valley of Words. Now I would request Dr. Harsh Dobal to kindly felicitate Mr. Manoj Menkar. I would now request Dr. Aditi Bish to kindly felicitate Mrs. Jyoti Dhawan. Now I would like to request Dr. Ghazala Khan to kindly felicitate Mrs. Sunita Vijay. With this, we'll now proceed to our main event of the day, that is Gaura Devi National Debate Competition. But before starting the event, I would like to tell you the rules for today's event. The round will adhere to the conventional form of debate. A time limit of 5 minutes, that is 4 plus 1. Debate plus rebuttal shall be strictly followed. There will be a rebuttal session in the final round in order to increase the quality of the debate. The first bell will be after 3 minutes, that will be one buzzer. After that, we'll have another bell after 1 minute, which is after 4 minutes, and we'll have 2 buzzers, and then we'll have the final bell. Rebuttal can be asked by the participants and the jury. Paper reading, use of any electric gadgets, and switching languages will lead to disqualifications. Change of language is strictly forbidden and will lead to disqualifications. The decision of the judges will be final.
हिंदी में दोहराती हूँ। यह दौर बहस के पारंपरिक स्वरूप का पालन करेगा। 5 मिनट की समय सीमा 4+1 अर्थात वाद विवाद प्लस खंडन का सख्ती से पालन किया जाएगा। पहली घंटी 3 मिनट बाद और दूसरी घंटी 4 मिनट के अंत में होगी। बहस की गुणवत्ता बढ़ाने के लिए अंतिम दौर में खंडन सत्र होगा। प्रतिभागियों और जूरी द्वारा खंडन पूछा जा सकता है। पेपर पढ़ने, किसी भी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गैजेट का उपयोग करने और भाषा बदलने पर अयोग्यता हो जाएगी। वक्तव्यों के बीच में भाषा बदलना सख्त मना है। न्यायाधीशों का निर्णय अंतिम होगा। अब मैं इसी जोश और उत्साह के साथ हमारे पहले वाचक को आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ, जिनका नाम है शिवानी थपलियाल।
We request you to kindly turn your phones silent and refrain from unnecessary movement during the competition. Thank you.
कोई ना दुश्मन किसी का, सब प्यार से गले लग रहे। मिटा नफरत का अंधेरा, मिटा नफरत का अंधेरा, मानवता के दीप जल रहे। यह संसार एक बेहतर जगह, और ये क्या, इंसान इंसान बन रहे। जागिए, क्योंकि एक मात्र काल्पनिक परिदृश्य था। और माफ़ी चाहूँगी आप सभी को इस काल्पनिक दुनिया में ले जाने के लिए, लेकिन क्या करूँ, आज मेरे प्रतिपक्षी साथी इसी दुनिया में कहीं खो चुके हैं और उन्हें विषय की वास्तविकता से परिचित कराने के लिए मैं शिवानी थपलियाल विषय का खंडन करना अपना दायित्व समझती हूँ। जो विषय प्रश्न उठाता है कि क्या राष्ट्र राज्य ही मानव अधिकारों का संरक्षण करने वाला एकमात्र मार्ग है, तब महोदय मैं देखती हूँ विश्व की वर्तमान वास्तविकता को और पाती हूँ कि राष्ट्र राज्य की परिभाषा में तो कई राज्य आते हैं। कुछ मौलिक अधिकारों के संरक्षण का दिखावा कर लेते हैं और कुछ आए दिन इनका ही हनन करे जाते हैं। सर्वप्रथम मैं बात करना चाहूंगी उत्तर कोरिया की, एक ऐसा तानाशाह राज्य जहां मानव अधिकार जैसे शब्द का कोई अस्तित्व नहीं है, जहां की आधी से ज्यादा जनता गरीबी और भुखमरी का शिकार है, जहां के कानून खुद अधिकारों को कुचलने का कार्य करते हैं। वहीं दूसरी ओर यदि बात अफगानिस्तान की करें तो अफगानिस्तान की भी काफी दयनीय स्थिति है। यहाँ मानव अधिकारों को नकारा जा रहा है, महिलाओं के अधिकारों को नकारा जा रहा है और आम जनता की बोलने की स्वतंत्रता को छीना जा रहा है। और आज तो हम सभी के सामने उदाहरण स्वरूप कुछ ऐसे राज्य भी हैं, कुछ ऐसे राज्य जिनके लिए उनके स्वार्थ ही सर्वोपरि है। जी हाँ, मैं बात कर रही हूँ चीन की। चीन ने कभी तिब्बत की सामरिक प्रमुखता का फायदा उठाने के लिए तिब्बत पर कब्जा किया, तो कभी ताइवान पर एक चीनी प्रांत होने का दावा करा, और ना जाने इस तरह कितने ही बार चीन ने खुद को सर्वश्रेष्ठ साबित करने के लिए मानव अधिकारों को भली भांति नकारा है। महोदय, मेरे प्रतिपक्षी साथियों का मानना है कि आम जनता और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संगठनों को एक राज्य जोड़ने का काम करते हैं। मैं उन्हें वास्तविकता से परिचित कराना चाहूंगी। सन 2007 में सऊदी अरब ने महिलाओं के खिलाफ हो रहे भेदभाव पर प्रतिबंध लगाने वाली संयुक्त राष्ट्र की एक संधि की पुष्टि तो करी, लेकिन फिर भी अपने सभी कानूनों में महिलाओं को पुरुषों के अधीन रखा। इसी प्रकार कई राज्यों ने बाल अधिकारों की कन्वेंशन की पुष्टि करी, लेकिन फिर भी वहां बाल श्रम आज भली भांति मौजूद है, जैसे उज्बेकिस्तान, तंजानिया इत्यादि। महोदय, यदि अब मैं इस विषय को राजनीतिक विज्ञान की दृष्टि से देखूं, तो देखिए, ये समझना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि राष्ट्र राज्य इस शब्द का क्या अर्थ है। इस शब्द का अर्थ है कोई भी ऐसा राज्य जिसकी राजनीतिक सीमाएं किसी विशेष राष्ट्र या जातीयता से मेल खाती हों। ऐसे में बहुसंख्यकों की राजनीतिक और सांस्कृतिक पहचान बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी हो जाती है। अर्थात अल्पसंख्यकों के साथ गुनाह हो सकता है और होता भी है, जैसे म्यांमार में रोहिंग्या मुसलमानों के खिलाफ होता अत्याचार, वहीं चीन का उइगरों पर जुल्म करना इत्यादि। अब मैं कुछ लोकतांत्रिक देशों की बात करना चाहूँगी, जैसे भारतीय संविधान विश्व का सबसे बड़ा लिखित संविधान है, लेकिन फिर भी 30 मूल मानव अधिकारों में से हमारे संविधान में केवल 6 को मौलिक अधिकारों की श्रेणी में जगह दी गई है। 21वीं सदी में होने के बावजूद भी युगांडा जैसा लोकतांत्रिक देश आज समलैंगिक समुदाय के अधिकारों को नकार कर हाल ही में समलैंगिक संबंधों को अपराध की श्रेणी में डालता है। वहीं दूसरी ओर आइसलैंड, जो कि खुद को मानव अधिकार का चैंपियन बताता है, उनके प्रधानमंत्री को हाल ही में अन्य महिलाओं के साथ महिलाओं के अधिकारों के लिए हड़ताल पर जाना पड़ा। यह सभी बातें सिद्ध करती हैं कि वर्तमान परिप्रेक्ष्य में किसी भी प्रकार का राज्य, तानाशाही राजतंत्र या लोकतंत्र मानव अधिकारों का संरक्षण करने में असमर्थ है। अंत में केवल इतना कहना चाहूंगी, सत्य कड़वा है लेकिन अपनाना तो पड़ेगा। राज्य रक्षक से भक्षक बना, यह मानना भी पड़ेगा। इसलिए अब राज्य पर निर्भर नहीं रह सकते। मानव को खुद मानव अधिकारों को बचाना होगा, मानवता की संरक्षण का जिम्मा उठाना होगा। धन्यवाद।
Now we'll start with the rebuttal round.
धन्यवाद।
अब मैं इसी के साथ हमारे दूसरे वाचक को मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी, जिनका नाम है रोहित सिंह रावत।
और मैं 3-2-1 की गिनती में अपना वक्तव्य प्रारंभ करूंगा। 3, 2, 1। दामन पे ना कोई छीट, ना खंजर पे कोई दाग, कत्ल करो हो कि करामात करो हो। मान्यवर, ये पंक्तियां सदन में राष्ट्र राज्यों की असल छवि, चरित्र और तस्वीर को प्रमाणित करती हैं। नमस्कार, सदन की गरिमा को मेरा नमन। मैं रोहित सिंह रावत आज सदन में रखे गए विषय के विपक्ष में अपने विचार साझा कर रहा हूं। मान्यवर, प्रथम विश्व युद्ध के बाद लगभग 2 करोड़ लोगों ने अपनी जान गंवा दी। 2 करोड़ से अधिक लोग घायल हो गए महोदय, जिसमें 25% से अधिक आबादी फ्रांस की रही, 52% आबादी जर्मनी की रही और 10% से अधिक आबादी ओटोमन साम्राज्य की रही। इसके बाद इतिहास का सबसे घातक युद्ध यानी द्वितीय विश्व युद्ध महोदय, जिसमें 7 से 8 करोड़ लोगों ने अपनी जान नरसंहार, जाति हत्या, भुखमरी, गरीबी और बीमारी के चलते गंवा दी। मान्यवर, इसके बाद समय का चक्र घूमा और इन राष्ट्र राज्यों ने विश्व स्तर पर शीत युद्ध, गृह युद्ध, सांप्रदायिक हिंसा और एक सामान्य भाषा, एक सामान्य वंश, एक सामान्य संस्कृति, एक सामान्य इतिहास की विचारधारा को बढ़ावा देते हुए मानवता और मानवाधिकारों की धज्जियां उड़ाकर रख दी। महोदय, क्या इन सब के बावजूद यह कहना उचित होगा कि राष्ट्र राज्य मानव अधिकारों के सर्वोत्तम ग्रांटर है? नहीं महोदय, बिल्कुल भी नहीं। मानव अधिकार किसी भी मनुष्य के अहम अधिकार हैं, जिनमें जो मानते हैं कि किसी भी व्यक्ति की जाति, रंग, रूप, वेश, भाषा, धर्म, राष्ट्रीयता कुछ भी हो, लेकिन मानव अधिकारों में जीवन और स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार हमेशा एक बुनियादी तौर पर मौजूद रहता है। लेकिन महोदय, विडंबना देखिए कि यह राष्ट्र राज्य अपनी आवश्यकता और अपनी विचारधारा को ध्यान में रखते हुए उन लोगों को अपने राज्य से निष्कासित कर देते हैं जो इनकी परिकाशित राष्ट्रीय पहचान के अंतर्गत नहीं आते। जी हां महोदय, राष्ट्रवाद की विचारधारा को बढ़ावा देने के लिए, एकता में अनेकता के सिद्धांत को सिद्ध करने के लिए जब माननीय सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल ने 562 बिखरी हुई रियासतों को एक सुक्ति से जोड़कर भारत देश को एक राष्ट्र राज्य के रूप में स्थापित किया था, लेकिन आज वही भारत देश जो अपने आप को और इस बात को मानता है कि एकता में अनेकता मौजूद है, जब बात रोहिंग्या समुदाय के लोगों की हनसंहार की आती है, उनके नरसंहार की आती है, उनके मानव अधिकारों के हनन की आती है, तो विश्व स्तर पर आज भारत आवाज उठाने में असमर्थ रहता है। महोदय, मेरा अगला तथ्य मानव अधिकारों के उल्लंघन कर रहे राष्ट्र राज्यों पर प्रश्न उठाता है, वह है रंग भेदभाव। महोदय, प्यू रिसर्च रिपोर्ट के अनुसार 55% से अधिक आबादी अमेरिका में यह मानती है कि उन्हें भेदभाव का शिकार करना पड़ रहा है। मान्यवर, 35% से अधिक आबादी जर्मनी में रंग भेदभाव का शिकार है। मान्यवर, आज 21वीं सदी के 23वें वर्ष में हम इस रंग भेद की चिंगारी को विश्वव्यापी आग में तब्दील होने से नहीं रोक पाए। मेरा अंतिम तथ्य पड़ोसी मुल्क पाकिस्तान की बात करता है। मान्यवर, अल्पसंख्यक धार्मिक जातियों पर अत्याचार करना उनकी राज्य व्यवस्था में लिखा गया है। जी हां महोदय, पाकिस्तान के संविधान के अनुच्छेद 2 के अनुसार पाकिस्तान में इस्लाम राज्य धर्म है और पाकिस्तान के अनुच्छेद 41(2) के अनुसार पाकिस्तान का राष्ट्रपति सिर्फ एक मुस्लिम व्यक्ति बन सकता है। महोदय, क्या यह मानव अधिकारों का हनन नहीं? क्या यह मानव अधिकारों की उज्ज्वलता पर, उनके सिद्धांतों पर प्रश्न नहीं उठाता? महोदय, आज वर्तमान में मानव अधिकारों को मद्देनजर रखते हुए, राष्ट्र राज्यों की वास्तविकता, उनकी विचारधारा को देखते हुए श्रीमद् भगवद गीता का यह कथन याद आता है, यदि सृजन मैं हूं तो विनाश भी मैं ही हूं। महोदय, आज 21वीं सदी में आवश्यकता राष्ट्र राज्यों को है कि वे सर्वनाश की तरफ ना जाकर समाधान की तरफ जाएं। महोदय, आज आवश्यकता है कि मानव अधिकार सर्वोपरि रहें। आज आवश्यकता है कि हम अपनी विचारधारा और मानसिकता में बदलाव लेकर आएं। अंत में अपनी वाणी को विराम देते हुए बस इतना कहना चाहूंगा कि महोदय, वो जो इनके हाथों में छाले होते हैं, उनके दम पर ही आज ये महल वाले आबाद रहते हैं। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
The floor is now open for rebuttals.
The guests, जैसा आपने कहा कि ह्यूमन राइट्स का वायलेशन हो रहा है और जो नेशन स्टेट है उसकी वो बेस्ट गारंटर नहीं है, दिस इज व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, हाँ? तो अगर नेशन स्टेट बेस्ट गारंटर नहीं है, आई अंडरस्टैंड ड्यू टू पॉलिटिकल इंटरेस्ट एंड सम इकोनॉमिक इंटरेस्ट, नेशन स्टेट सेल्फिश हो जाते हैं और वायलेशंस हो रहे हैं, तो आप क्या सजेस्ट करते हैं कि फिर कौन है? अगर हम एज इंडिविजुअल अपनी मानसिकता, जैसे आपने कहा, चेंज करना चाहेंगे तो एक इंसान तो कर लेगा, और एक इंसान, गांधी जी ने भी कहा है, बहुत चेंजेस ला सकता है, लेकिन सबको कैसे हम सुधारें और कैसे ये ह्यूमन राइट्स को एड्रेस करें इस इशू को?
आपके प्रश्न के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैम। जैसा कि विश्व युद्ध के बाद यूरोपियन यूनियन का गठन हुआ, जहां उन्होंने इस बात को मद्देनजर रखते हुए स्थापित किया गया यूरोपियन यूनियन की बहुत सारे ऐसे राष्ट्र राज्य हैं जो अपने हित के लिए, अपनी सीमाओं की रक्षा के लिए, पॉलिटिकल हो या हिस्ट्री से रिलेटेड हो, उनके हनन को बचाने के लिए आज मानवाधिकारों का हनन कर रहे हैं। लेकिन मेरे मायने में, या मैंने जिस तरीके से अपने वक्तव्य के अंत में भी कहा कि हमें ज़रूरत आज मानसिकता में बदलाव की है, और अभी असल मायनों में जो राष्ट्र राज्य कर सकते हैं वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने नागरिकों में नागरिकता का भाव यानी सिविक सेंस को जागरूक करके उनमें उनकी विचारधारा में बदलाव लाने का कार्य कर सकते हैं। धन्यवाद।
आपके भाषण के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अब मैं इसी के साथ हमारे अगले वक्ता को आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी, जिनका नाम है शताक्षी।
हेलो, कृपया 3 की गिनती पे मेरे वक्तव्य का समय प्रारंभ कर दीजिएगा। 3, 2, 1। सभा की उपस्थिति को अध्यक्ष महोदय की अनुमति से प्रणाम करते हुए आज मैं सदन में रखे गए विषय के पक्ष में अपने विचार लेकर उपस्थित हूँ। महोदय, सर्वप्रथम सदन को समझना होगा कि आज का विषय ये नहीं कहता कि मानवाधिकारों का एकमात्र गारंटर कोई राष्ट्र या राज्य है, किंतु ये कहता है कि इस प्रक्रिया में जितने भी पक्ष सम्मिलित हैं उनमें से सर्वोत्तम भूमिका कोई राज्य निभा सकता है। महोदय, इसके संदर्भ में आज सदन में मैं 3 तर्क रखने जा रही हूँ। महोदय, सबसे पहला तर्क बताता है कि कैसे मानवाधिकारों की सुरक्षा के लिए राष्ट्र राज्य सर्वोत्तम है, दूसरा बताता है कैसे अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से, और तीसरा बताता है कैसे प्रत्यक्ष रूप से एक राष्ट्र नागरिकों की मानवाधिकारों का गारंटर बन जाता है। महोदय, सबसे पहले बात करना चाहूंगी बड़े बड़े घोषणा पत्रों में दिए हुए अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता के मानवाधिकार की, जिसे किताबों से उठाकर असल मायनों में राज्य तक लेकर आते हैं राष्ट्र और राज्य जिन्हें की जनता का साथ मिला होता है। उदाहरण देना चाहूंगी संयुक्त राज्य अमेरिका का। वर्ष 1957 में जब रॉथ बनाम अमेरिकी राज्य का निर्णय आया था तो अमेरिकी सर्वोच्च न्यायालय ने बताया कि आपको अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता का अधिकार है, किंतु तब तक जब तक आप अश्लील भाषा का प्रयोग न करें। महोदय, एक न्यायालय का ये एक निर्णय वहां की जनता के लिए कानून बन जाता है, उनके मानवाधिकार की परिभाषा बन जाता है। क्यों? क्योंकि यही जनता निर्माण करती है चुनकर उस राज्य का, उसकी सरकार का और उसके द्वारा स्थापित संस्थाओं का जिसमें उसे विश्वास होता है। महोदय, बात करना चाहूंगी कैसे अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से एक राष्ट्र मानवाधिकारों की गारंटी लेता है। सार्वभौमिक रूप से हम सभी को मानवाधिकार मिले हुए हैं, किंतु किसी समुदाय विशेष के संघर्ष कैसे हैं, उन्हें दिक्कतें कैसी हैं, ये बात कोई राष्ट्र या राज्य ही समझ सकता है। महोदय, समानता के जो स्तर यूरोपीय महिलाओं के पास हैं वो इस्लामिक राष्ट्रों में नहीं है। स्वतंत्रता का जो अधिकार भारत के लोगों के पास है वो कोरिया में नहीं है, और भोजन और पोषण का जो स्तर ऑस्ट्रेलिया में है वो यमन या सीरिया में नहीं है। ऐसी स्थिति में इन राज्यों के किसी भी व्यक्ति को जब अंतर्राष्ट्रीय शक्तियों से भी सहायता चाहिए होती है तो स्वयं असक्षम होते हुए भी इनके राष्ट्र इन्हें मदद करते हैं, एक राजनीतिक पहचान देते हुए, जिसके द्वारा ये कहलाए जाते हैं नागरिक किसी राज्य के, और बाकी शक्तियां इनकी मदद करती हैं। स्वयं असक्षम होते हुए भी इनका राष्ट्र इनके मानवाधिकारों का गारंटर बन जाता है। महोदय, कहीं ना कहीं यही कारण है कि जो लोग राज्य विहीन हो जाते हैं, शरणार्थी हो जाते हैं, बेघर हो जाते हैं, किताबों पे तो उनके अधिकार वैसे ही रहते हैं, किंतु असल मायनों में वो मानवाधिकार विहीन भी हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि उनके शिक्षा के अधिकार के लिए कोई विद्यालय नहीं बनाता, उनके निष्पक्ष न्याय के लिए कोई अदालत नहीं बिठाता, कोई नहीं लेता उनके मानवाधिकारों की गारंटी, और ऐसे मामले में कोई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संगठन भी उनके उत्थान के लिए सामने नहीं आता। उदाहरण हम कई शरणार्थियों के मामलों से ले सकते हैं। महोदय, बात करूं कैसे प्रत्यक्ष रूप से एक राष्ट्र मानवाधिकारों की गारंटी लेता है, तो इस बारे में बात करते हुए मैं बात करूंगी कि एक डरा सहमा लेखक जिसे अपनी बात खुलकर रखनी है, अभिव्यक्ति की स्वतंत्रता चाहिए, उसे वो मानवाधिकार प्राप्त होता है जब उसका राष्ट्र गारंटी लेता है कि तुम कुछ भी कहोगे यदि कानून के दायरे में, तो तुम्हारी शारीरिक सुरक्षा की गारंटी मैं लेता हूं। किसी व्यक्ति को निष्पक्ष न्याय का अधिकार तब प्राप्त होता है जब निष्पक्ष न्यायपालिका की स्थापना उसका राज्य करता है। जांच एजेंसियां किसी का शोषण ना करें, इसका अधिकार तब प्राप्त होता है जब निष्पक्ष जांच एजेंसियों की स्थापना उनका राष्ट्र करता है। महोदय, इन संरचनाओं के बिना, राज्य की भूमिका के बिना ये मानवाधिकार बस किताबी दावे रह जाते हैं, जिसका उदाहरण हम अफगानिस्तान और सीरिया के रूप में ले सकते हैं, जहां राज्य विफल हो जाते हैं अपने नागरिकों के मानवाधिकारों की सुरक्षा के लिए। अंत में बस ये कहूंगी कि मानवाधिकारों के इस लंबे सफर में जो हमें लोगों को देने हैं, जिनकी सुरक्षा करनी है, हमारे कई साथी हो सकते हैं, हमारी मदद के लिए कई पक्ष सामने हो सकते हैं, लेकिन राज्य की सर्वोच्च भूमिका को नकारा नहीं जा सकता, क्योंकि ना हम सफर ना हम नशी से निकलेगा, ना हम सफर ना हम नशी से निकलेगा, हमारे पांव का कांटा बस हम ही से निकलेगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद महोदय आपके वक्तव्य के लिए। आपने अपने वक्तव्य में बात करी कि राज्य कुछ संगठनों को स्थापित करता है। यदि मैं भारत का उदाहरण लूं तो भारत में क्यों NHRC जैसा संगठन केवल एक सलाहकारी संगठन है, एक बाध्यकारी संगठन नहीं? धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद महोदया आपके प्रश्न के लिए। इससे शायद मुझे थोड़ी और मदद मिलेगी मेरे वक्तव्य को और अच्छे से समझाने के लिए। हमें समझना होगा कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पे कई संस्थाएं हैं जिनकी मुख्य भूमिका सलाहकारी रूप में है। अगर मैं बात संयुक्त राष्ट्र की भी करूं तो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कानून किसी राज्य पर पूर्ण रूप से बाध्य नहीं है, लेकिन उनकी भूमिका है कि क्योंकि वो कहीं ना कहीं समाज के एक जैसे सोचने वाले लोगों को एक हाशिए पर लेकर आते हैं और इस बात को सुनिश्चित करते हैं कि ये राज्य कुछ ऐसे कानून बनाए उनकी सलाह को समझते हुए जिसकी मदद से हम लोगों को उनके अधिकार दे सके। बिल्कुल वैसा ही काम हमारे राज्य में NHRC या फिर मानवाधिकार आयोग करता है। जब आप कुछ ऐसी सलाह, कुछ ऐसे मशवरे सरकार को देते हैं जिसे सरकार अपनी नीतियों में डाल पाती है ताकि वो लोगों के मानवाधिकारों की रक्षा कर सके, तब हमें पता चलता है कि ये सलाहकारी भूमिका केवल सलाह तक नहीं है बल्कि कानूनों में भी तब्दील होती है। NHRC की हाल ही की कोई रिपोर्ट मैं पढ़ रही थी, मैं नाम नहीं अभी याद कर पा रही हूँ, जिसमें बताया गया है कि आज तक लगभग 98% मशवरे जो NHRC ने भारत सरकार को दिए हैं उन्हें किसी न किसी रूप में किसी कानून के अंदर डाला गया है ताकि लोगों के अधिकारों को सुनिश्चित किया जा सके। ये बात हमें बताती है कि अंततः सलाह, मशवरे, यहाँ तक कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें कई पक्ष दे सकते हैं, कई संगठन दे सकते हैं, किंतु अंत में रक्षा करने की जो जिम्मेदारी है वो राज्य की है। बिल्कुल वैसे ही जैसे हाथ पैरों से सक्षम बच्चा चल तो सकता है लेकिन जीवन में मार्गदर्शन के लिए उसे आवश्यकता है कि उसके माँ बाप उसे सही रास्ता दिखाएं, वैसे ही एक मजबूत राज्य, एक मजबूत राष्ट्र अपने लोगों के मानवाधिकारों की रक्षा करे, भले ही वो उसमें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय शक्तियों की सहायता ले या फिर कुछ संगठनों की जो उसे सलाह दे पा रहे हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
आपके प्रभावशाली भाषण के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। मैं मनीषा रावत को स्टेज पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी उनके भाषण के लिए।
तीन, दो, एक की गिनती के साथ आप मेरा वक्तव्य प्रारंभ कर दीजिएगा। 3, 2, 1। महोदय, जब सड़क पर एक महिला के खिलाफ हो रहे उत्पीड़न को देखकर जर्मनी का सर्वोच्च न्यायालय न सिर्फ खुले दिल से अपने दरवाजे खोलता है बल्कि उस जैसी हजारों महिलाओं के मूल मानवाधिकार अर्थात जीवन जीने के अधिकार को पुनर्स्थापित करता है, महोदय, तब मैं विषय के पक्ष में खड़ी होती हूँ। महोदय, जब इतिहास के पन्नों को उठाकर देखा जाता है और ये ज्ञात होता है कि 1948 के UN मानवाधिकार घोषणा पत्र में सर्वाधिक हस्ताक्षर करने वाले राष्ट्रों में से एक राज्य राष्ट्र होते हैं, तो आज इस सदन में मानवाधिकारों की गुहाई दे रही इस पंक्ति में सबसे आगे खड़े राष्ट्र राज्यों के हित में आज मैं खड़ी होती हूँ। और महोदय, जब आज भी ये राज्य राष्ट्र अडिग अथक हो मानवाधिकारों के संरक्षण के लिए जुटे हुए हैं और इस पूरे विश्व के समक्ष एक आईना ले ये प्रश्न करते हैं कि क्या आपका और मेरा मानव मात्र होना हमें कुछ अधिकारों के लिए उत्तीर्ण नहीं करता, महोदय, तब मैं विषय के पक्ष में खड़ी होती हूँ। सदन को मेरा सादर नमस्कार। मैं मनीषा रावत दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय से आप सभी के समक्ष सदन में रखे गए विषय के पक्ष में अपने विचार और तर्क लेकर प्रस्तुत हूँ। महोदय, सर्वप्रथम तो हमें ये जानने की आवश्यकता है कि एक राज्य राष्ट्र के अनेक विशेषताएं होती हैं, जैसे कि उसका एक संविधान होना, उस संविधान के प्रति ईमानदार होना, संप्रभुता इत्यादि आदि। परंतु आज के विषय के अनुसार एक राज्य राष्ट्र की सबसे जरूरी विशेषता होती है उस राज्य राष्ट्र का अपने नागरिकों के प्रति जवाबदेह होना। और महोदय, यही जवाबदेही एक राज्य राष्ट्र को मानवाधिकारों का सर्वोत्तम संरक्षक बनाकर छोड़ देती है। महोदय, अगर इतिहास और राजनीतिक विज्ञान की कुछ किताबों को उठाकर पलटा जाए तो ये ज्ञात होता है कि राज्य राष्ट्र की परिकल्पना की अवधारणा इस आधार पर की गई थी कि उसके पहले आयु प्रणालियां इस बात में विफल थी कि वो अपने नागरिकों के प्रति जवाबदेह नहीं हो पा रही थी। अब ऐसे में मेरे विपक्षियों का ये कहना कि राज्य राष्ट्र मानवाधिकारों का हनन कर रहे हैं, महोदय, मुझे तो महज मजाक मात्र लगता है। UN की अलग अलग सूचियां, सर्वे, विज्ञापन इस बात को साफ साफ स्पष्ट करते हैं कि कैसे इन मानवाधिकारों को बचाने के लिए राज्य राष्ट्र दिन रात काम कर रहे हैं।
अगर आज सदन में बैठा हुआ कोई भी व्यक्ति अपनी जेब में रखे फ़ोन को बाहर निकाले और इंटरनेट पर ये खोजने का प्रयास करे कि मानवाधिकारों की स्थिति किन राष्ट्रों में सबसे अच्छी है, तो मुझे ये बताते हुए गर्व की अनुभूति होती है कि जर्मनी, फ्रांस, डेनमार्क और स्वीडन जैसे राज्य राष्ट्र आपको सूची में सबसे ऊपर मिलेंगे। अब महोदय, ऐसे में भी मेरे विपक्षियों का ये मानना कि राज्य राष्ट्र मानवाधिकारों का हनन करते हैं, उसके लिए मेरे अपने विपक्षियों के लिए एक छोटे और साधारण से प्रश्न है कि अगर आपके मूल मानवाधिकार अर्थात समानता के अधिकार का हनन लुई 16 के फ्रांस में हुआ होता तो आप किसे जाकर प्रश्न करते? अगर नॉर्थ कोरिया के भांति कोई तानाशाह आपके अभिव्यक्ति के आधार को आपकी आंखों समक्ष कुचल रहा होता तो क्या वो तानाशाह आपको जवाब देने के लिए उत्तरदायी होता? अगर आप भी इन प्रश्नों के जवाब में निशब्द हैं तो एक पंक्ति के साथ आपको अपने वक्तव्य के अंत तक ले जाना चाहूँगी कि उम्र भर है गालिब, ये भूल करते रहे, धूल चेहरे पर थी और हम आईना साफ करते रहे। महोदय, मेरे विपक्षियों को ये जानना होगा कि गलती राष्ट्र राज्य की अवधारणा की नहीं है, गलती है हमारी, मेरी और आपकी राष्ट्र राज्य की समझ की। किस प्रणाली में खामियां नहीं होती? राष्ट्र राज्य का अपनी खामियों को अपनाने का साहस और उन खामियों के ऊपर कार्य कर आज मानवाधिकारों की आवाज़ बनकर इस सदन में खड़ा होना ही राष्ट्र राज्यों को मानवाधिकारों का सर्वोत्तम संरक्षण बनाकर छोड़ता है। धन्यवाद।
The floor is now open for rebuttals.
Anyone from the guest and judges can also ask the questions. Anybody?
धन्यवाद। आपका वक्तव्य वाकई बहुत सूचनापूर्ण था मनीषा। अब मैं अक्षत काला को स्टेज पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी कि आकर वो अपना वक्तव्य दें।
On the count of 3, 2, 1. We must take sides. Neutrality helps the oppressor, never the oppressed. Silence encourages the tormentor, never the tormented. Sometimes we must interfere. When human lives are endangered, when human dignity is enthralled, then we must come forward and save the humanity. Then national borders and sensitivities make no sense. They hold no importance. My warm regards to everyone present here. Today, I stand here in firm opposition to the claim that the nation state is a firm guarantor of human rights. To start with, what is nation state? It envisions a homogeneous population pledging allegiance to a single national community, where every religion is same, where every culture is same. Now you tell me, what is human rights for you? Human rights means it is simply embodied in the fact that it is for the humans. Yes, the humans. Now tell me, is it not against the very principles that we are seeking to uphold? It says that it is for separate communities, separate tribes, and everybody is homogeneous in that separate concept. It's a construct, and certainly this construct is not helping. Now to begin with, what is human rights and what is nation state and its importance? Now to come to the land of nation state, it is a state where you don't get minority rights, it is infringed. It is a state where the mother tongue is often not the language of the community. It is the stage where minority rights are infringed and butchered. Now to begin with, how the nation state has butchered everything can be seen through the global world which we are living in. The 21st century, which drives every ideas through interconnected world, where we are seeking artificial intelligence, where we face pandemics, global cooperation and collaboration, corruption, and economic disparity, how do we believe that nation state, the social construct of nation state, is going to help? We have seen the greatest tragedies of human lives, COVID-19 pandemic. If it was not for collaboration with nations, do you think that we would have been able to face this greatest tragedy? Therefore, I want to begin with the statement in assertion to the claim that the nation state is not the best guarantor of human rights, is that it cannot even protect the human rights, let alone calling it a guarantor is a facade. Nation state has a history which is mingled with facts which are distorted to the very essence, and they are fallible to the very concept of individuality. They shook the very core of humanity and human conscience. Therefore, I'd say that it is not nation state which would help the humanity in longer run, especially in the light of 21st century. It is actually the construct which delves into more feasibility and more acceptance of the world. And by this, I wind up. Thank you.
The floor is now open for rebuttals.
Even the chief guest and judges can ask the questions.
Hello. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful speech. I just had a question that as you suggested that nation state is probably not the best guarantor of human rights, can you please tell an alternative as to if not I have to approach the nation state to secure my human rights, which system or hierarchy should I be approaching if I want my human rights to be saved?
Well, thank you for the question. Firstly, I'd say that it's not the hierarchy which we should look forward to, it's the inclusivity which we are seeking to. And talking about nation state, it's actually a construct. It's actually which says that cultural construct is equal to the political construct. So basically, we are seeking many states and many nation states. And in the light of these nation states, if we see that the construct of psychology is very much a part of it. So I'd say that modern state, or just simply the state, which would help in the inclusivity, and it would be the better guarantor of human rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshat, for your energetic speech. Now we'll have our next participant, which is Anushka Chaudhary.
Hello. The nation state does not claim it will bring peace or justice to the whole world, only that it will work to bring these benefits to a particular people living on a particular piece of land. A very warm greetings to one and all present here. My name is Anushka Chaudhary, and today I'll be speaking for the motion. Living in a world today that is governed majorly by war and violence, wherein it has become almost non-negotiable to live without the security of one's basic human rights, the nation state has become the ultimate provider of the latter. The concept of the nation state, with its well-defined borders and governments and sovereign authority, serves as a foundation for safeguarding the fundamental rights and freedoms of its citizens. For an instance, let's take our own country. India as a nation state is both a constitutional republic and a representative democracy, which means that the majority rule is balanced by the rights recognized by law. Ladies and gentlemen, Ladies and gentlemen, Article 12 of the Indian Constitution defines state as the legislative and executive organ of both the union and state government, all the local authorities, as well as the statutory and the non-statutory authorities. In fact, our country, through its various organs, ensures that all the rights are not just provided, but also protected by the law. Right to life and personal liberty, right to freedom of speech and expression, right to vote, right against inhuman treatment surmounts every individual irrespective of caste, color, creed, or sex. Besides that, the landmark judgments like the Manika Gandhi case that declared Articles 14, 19, and 21 as the Golden Triangle Rule, or the Keshwanand Bharti case that upheld the basic structure doctrine of the Indian Constitution, or the admission of the right to privacy as a fundamental right in 2017 are all precedents to how our human rights are not just guaranteed but also protected by the state. Ladies and gentlemen, from the surgical strikes of 2016 to clashes at the Galwan Valley in 2020, our state has always been on the front line. It not only ensures the safety and security of its citizens, but also ensures that no one is deprived of their basic rights that they're entitled to. Ladies and gentlemen, when we take a look at the world around, whether it's Ukraine protecting its sovereignty and the human rights of its citizens by fighting a prolonged war with one of the leading powers of the world, or the government of Palestine trying to knock on every single door calling for a ceasefire, we understand how a nation state does everything to protect its citizens from the cruelties of the war. From being deprived of the basic human rights, the biggest of them all, the right to live with dignity and respect. And despite all this, ladies and gentlemen, my opponents still have the audacity to say that the nation state is not the best guarantor of human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, the nation state fosters a sense of identity and shared responsibility amongst its citizens, thus creating a collective responsibility to upholding human rights. It reinforces the notion that it is not just a political entity, but a custodian of the well-being of its people and their human rights. The human rights that are not just a privilege granted by the few, but the liberty entitled to all. The human rights that are for all people, those in the dawn of life, those in the dusk of life, and those in the shadows of life. The human rights that are protected and guaranteed by the nation itself. With that, I rest my case. Thank you.
The floor is now open for rebuttals.
Anybody from the judges can also ask the questions.
मैडम धन्यवाद आपका। मेरा थोड़ा सा आप लोगों से एक आग्रह था, ये ह्यूमन राइट्स का जहाँ तक विषय है, आप इसको आर्मी के मैटर में कैसे देखते हैं? जैसे हमारे देश की सेनाएं अपने देश की रक्षा के लिए आतंकवादियों से लड़ती हैं और हमारे देश में जो महत्वपूर्ण भूमिकाएं निभाते हैं राष्ट्र के निर्माण में, वो भी आखिर उन पक्षों का साथ दे देते हैं और वो ये कहते हैं कि शायद हमारी सेना की ही गलती है और हमारी सेना का सर उनके सामने झुक जाता है। क्योंकि मैं इस प्रश्न को इस रूप में रख रहा हूँ, मेरा बेटा भी बीएसएफ में है, बॉर्डर पर रहता है और कई बार ऐसे प्रश्न होते हैं, हमको भी उनसे ये कहना पड़ता है कि बेटा नौकरी सोच समझ के करना, क्योंकि देश की राजनीति हमें कई ढंग से प्रभावित करती है। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir, for your question, but I think you've put me in a dilemma here. I would say, sir, as far as army is concerned and what I have been taught from my childhood, it's like that people in army should be politically neutral, but I know that's not the case in our country. I'm well aware of that. Answering your question, sir, you said, how is army a part of the nation? Sir, it is very much a part of our nation. Army is governed by our government only. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Anushka. I would now like to call Sambhav Pratap Singh.
Hello, hello, hello. On the count of 3, 2, 1, please begin my speech. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Long time ago, in the middle of the ocean, sailed a beautiful and a powerful ship called the Nation. The Nation was a leviathan of the seas. The Nation was a paragon of strength, but it was devoid of all the comfort for its passengers. So one day, a few passengers like my worthy opponents rose and said, "The Nation is not the best guarantor of our rights, and hereby we abandon it." The very next moment, honorable jury, they jumped into the oceans, but they perished. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, my worthy opponents and respected jury members. Today I stand before you supporting the motion. Today I stand for the truth, and I will give the truth in two-legged ways, in two constructive arguments. My first argument will be that the nation states are the best guarantors because they are the only competent and capable guarantors of human rights. And second will be that the mechanism which is established by the nation states for enforcement of these human rights makes them the best guarantor of human rights. When we talk about rights, we have to talk of its enforcement. Because a right which cannot be enforced, honorable jury, is just like a vestigial organ of a human body of absolutely no use at all. It is a nation state which comes into the picture. They create a mechanism for the enforcement of these rights. They can do it in a number of ways. By incorporating and imbibing the spirit of human rights into the municipal laws. Article 14, Article 19, 21, 22 are the best examples of it, which are present in the law of the land, the Indian Constitution, the grand norm of India. Now, I would like to ask a simple question to each and everybody sitting here. What is the first action, the first course of action which a victim takes when his rights are violated? They approach the judiciary, don't they? Judiciary is an institution established by the nation state itself. It is that institution which exercises enforcement rights when the human rights of an individual is violated. It addresses the issues of violation of these human rights itself. It is bound by the law of the land, which again follows the spirit of human rights and natural justice. Now, going beyond this, at the international level, when we come to the international level, there is a concept of mechanism of humanitarian intervention. The nation states have again and again showed that for every Muhammad Siad Barre of Somalia, there is a US and UN intervention, military intervention, which will end his dictatorship rule. For every tyrant revolutionary united front, fueling war in Sierra Leone, there is a British army ready to curb the human rights abuse. An honorable jury, for every Operation Searchlight by Pakistan, there is an Indian army. There is an Indian army with his Sam Bahadur, courageous enough to make 93,000 men on their knees, bold enough to create a whole nation altogether, a democratic nation, Bangladesh. When I look at the motion for the last time, it says the nation state are the best guarantor. The term, the best guarantor. It is what we have to deal with. Who will be the best depends upon the capability, upon the competence of it. In the present political structure of the global world order, if you ask a realist, who possesses the real sovereign? The answer would be same, the nation states. In absence of an international government with real sovereign powers, it is the nation state and the nation state only, which is the truly capable, competent, and the best authority which can grant and which can guarantee these human rights to these individuals whose rights are violated. It is a nation state, honorable jury, that provides the mechanism, the nation state which enforces its rights, the nation state which gives a guarantee to all these individuals for the enforcement of these very rights. With this, I rest my case. Thank you.
The floor is now open for rebuttals.
Hello, very nice speech, was very captivated. I would like to ask you, how would you like to justify the competency of nation state during the building of Sardar Sarovar Dam by when the nation state completely ignored the plight of the tribes living in the Narmada Valley, and in fact, at the same time, the World Bank condemned the idea and after much discussion decided to refuse the funds which the Indian country needed, the Indian state needed, and despite of that, the country went ahead to generate funds by themselves and decided to go on with the building of Sardar Sarovar Dam. How would you like to, because you yourself was very adamant to bring the notice on the word competency. So how would you like to justify the competency of the nation state during that predicament? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your question, ma'am. Ma'am, when we see the topic of the debate, and I will come to the point of competency as well. When we see the topic, the nation states are the best guarantor of human rights. We are not, if the motion of the day would have been, and if the question of the day would have been whether nation states violate human rights or not, believe me, ma'am, I would have been on the other side of the motion. But the question of the day is, nation states are the best guarantors. When we talk of competency, we talk of an institution which is the most capable institution. I ask a question to you all. Which institution in the political structure, in the political hierarchy, who is the apex predator? International government. United Nations, it is mere philosophy. International government, without a real sovereign authority, cannot be the apex, at the apex of the political structure. That is how I call the nation states to be the most capable, the most competent, and hence justifying why they are the best guarantors.
May I? Okay. I'm just a student of human rights as much as you are. So, I'm slightly confused. Do you mean to say that the nation state, when you say it's the best guarantor, it came across to me like that. Now, does that mean it is the only guarantor of human rights?
So, in one sense, it does not mean that it is the only guarantor. What I'm trying to establish is this. Nation state, there are other guarantors as well, because when we say the term that there is the best guarantor, then there are obviously other participants in the competition as well. If there is to be best speaker, there are going to be the participants. Now, when I say that it is the best guarantor, I put emphasis on the fact that it is the nation state which is the most competent, and I have provided the reason for that because they are at the topmost hierarchy of the political structure of the global world order. And that is the reason why they become the best guarantor, because they are the best at it and the most competent and the most capable institution which can guarantee us these human rights.
Okay, part B of my question. In that case, do you think civil society collectively can be an equally potent force as a guarantor of human rights? Do you think it's possible?
Sir, it is possible, but in an idealistic sense. Because civil society collectively created a nation state by the social contract we studied in the social contract theory. Again, a philosophy. But when the nation state comes into existence, it satisfies the four elements of it: the territory, the population, the government, and the recognition of sovereignty as well. Now, when the civil society comes together and forms and gives a sovereign power to the state, it is mere philosophy and idealistic opinion that each and every individual of a nation state will possess single power, will possess equal power, but that is not the case in realistic terms.
I'm sorry, but my last question, have you come across any example personally where you've seen civil society collectively acting as either a guarantor or protector of human rights in your vicinity or somewhere else? Have you come across?
Yes, indeed, there have been instances, sir. But the thing is this, the civil society at the end of the day, what they are doing is they are trying to make pressure over the nation states, which has the supreme say in it. Whether they want to accept what the civil society wants them to, whether they want to reject what the civil society wants them to do. And because of the very fact, because the nation state have the last say in it, they become the best guarantor in it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Sambhav. I would now like to call our last participant for the day, Priya Singh.
All right. Before starting my timer, a very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Priya Singh and I'll be standing against the motion. So please start my timer in 3, 2, 1. Complexity is your enemy. Any fool can make something complicated. It is hard to keep things simple. This quote by Sir Richard Branson becomes especially significant when we consider quite a complex motion at hand. And I'll present you 3 simple arguments as to why I stand against the motion today. I differ in my approach with the other participants simply because I'll start my stance by not considering human rights, but rights of a nation state itself. 1, the core concept of a nation state. What is a nation state essentially? Simply a territory bounded by sovereignty and ruled in the name of community of citizens. However, This, on the surface, this seems quite simple, right? But when you delve deeper into the intricacy of what power this grants the state, that is where it becomes complicated. For example, we forget often that the ideal of a state is reinforced not just through citizenship, but also through national integration. And that is an important concept. For example, take Saudi Arabia, where for decades the human rights of women were largely ignored. And what was the predominant justification given for their actions? The predominant Islamic law. It was only after the Crown Prince Muhammad Salman came into power and realized that it was about time they removed the excrements of extremism. That is when, in 2017, people rejoiced when women could finally drive a car, only 6 years prior to what I'm standing today. That gives you all the more reason to believe the autonomy, the power that rests with the nation state. They not only make laws that would segregate a particular section, but they're also in a position of authority to then justify those laws in the name of simply preserving nationalistic values. My second argument, the role of politics. Yes, we do understand that politics plays a role. However, we do not understand how deeply ingrained politics is into the core of any nation state. Take India, for example, where even now death penalty is awarded in rarest of the rarest cases. But Jyoti Divakar, a primary researcher when it comes to the role of politics, socialism, and how that is taken as a basis of discrimination against minority communities. Media plays a huge role in portraying a certain narrative. When Dalit woman is subjected to any sort of violence, it is often not said that socialism does play a role in that. It is simply given and attributed to the individualistic nature of humans. However, nobody talks about the socialism in that case. Thus, why are other human or rights organizations important? Simply because they do not have political interest to drive their nations, to drive their interests, to drive their actions. Third and the last mode, and being the most important, integration of societies today. Globalization has done wonders for every nation. However, what we often do not understand is that it has also opened doors to a wide variety of societies which are strikingly different. So where is the point of contention then? When you say that the nation state is the best guarantor of human rights, it is a blanket statement at best. Like it or not, even from the perspective of a dictator, he is trying to ensure human rights of a particular citizen, right? However, if I say this statement in North Korea, rest assured you will not be able to hear from me again. Because you simply cannot question the authority. You cannot question the state. Another example, Kingdom of Brunei, Southeast Asia, is where homosexuality is illegal. You would be subject to death by stoning. Why? Because simply the party in power does not agree with the existence of the LGBTQ community. What am I getting at? It is all about perspectives. And while perspective is a blessing, certainly, since we have listened to numerous perspectives today, but when it comes to protecting people, we need clear boundaries. We need accountability. And that is something only other human rights organizations ensure. They keep the nation states in check. They remind them of their lack of initiatives. To conclude, I would just like to say that yes, there are numerous laws in place on the surface. However, it is their implementation that is an issue. And a nation state can only pass these laws, and that might be enough. But for any human rights organizations, their implementation is a greater role. With that being said, I would like to rest my case by just stating that while a nation state may stand for one section, it is other human rights organizations that stand for all individual alike, regardless of their individuality. With that being said, I would like to rest my case. Thank you so much for listening.
The floor is now open for rebuttals.
Greetings of the day, everyone. Ma'am, very well speech. Firstly, in your speech, you mentioned about the powers of the state. So, are you trying to question the work of honorable judiciary, whose work is to prevent the states to misuse their powers? Are you trying to question the integrity and the work they have been doing till date?
Thank you so much for your question, ma'am. No, I'm in no way trying to discredit the very honorable judiciary. I just mean to say that when you consider the judicial system, right, you need to understand that any organization, any system for that matter, has loopholes that you can exploit. So I'm no way saying that a nation state is not going to at least try to guarantee human rights. But when you hail somebody as supreme, what do you mean when you say somebody is the best? He is the standard. something that everybody should aspire for. And when you have this level of diversification at a global stage, you cannot simply stay and curb everybody under the same umbrella, that every nation state is the best guarantor, when we have so much discrepancy when it comes to varied countries. So that is not something I'm saying. And with that being said, I would just like to say that, there are laws in nations, right? Like let's take China, for example. They have banned female infanticide. However, it can be done, like prenatal sex determination can be done for as low as $2.6. That's very less when it comes to China. So where is the implementation in that case? Like where are you then guaranteeing the rights of somebody else? You're not. And that is why other human rights organizations are important, because they hold nation states accountable. So with that being said, thank you so much for being a lovely audience. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Priya, you mentioned two particular countries. I'll come to the latter, and that's the Kingdom of Brunei. What is your take on, you take country X, a certain gender issue is possibly, this comes under, as you would term it, violation of human rights. And on the other hand, in the overall happiness index, that country ranks much higher. How will you look at this dichotomy?
All right. Thank you so much for your question. So, sir, I would like to counter this example with another example. Take Saudi Arabia, as I mentioned, right? It is probably one of the safest countries to be in. The crime rate is extremely low. However, sir, if I say that any woman would be the best person to live there, probably not. So what is then Saudi Arabia doing? It is protecting the rights of one gender, men, and completely disregarding the other gender of women. So is that then all right? It is not all right. Yes, a country might be extremely happy, but is that happiness index ensuring and taking into these other variables into account? I highly doubt that, sir.
Do you think highly advanced countries, can we presume sitting here that there's no violation of any sorts?
Sir, just a clarification. Do you mean that advanced countries, they don't have any violation? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
No, sir, that's not true. Let's just take the example of USA. It's probably considered as a benchmark, and that's a very confusing concept to me. When they have been so backward. I mean, in India, abortion is illegal, and their abortion is illegal, which is a highly flawed concept, because when you consider the rights of women, in that panel, they were all male. Somebody who wouldn't, yeah, sure, I'm not questioning their credibility at all, but you need representation, and they did not have a single woman there. So that is then violating a particular gender's right. So at the end of the day, I would just like to say that I don't think that any country, for that matter, can be taken as a benchmark, simply because there are way too many variables to be considered. And when you hail somebody as the best, the supreme, they are the standard, and standards can't be questioned, sir. And that is something that I widely disagree with.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priya. With this, we come to the end of the final round of the second edition of Gaura Devi National Debate Competition. I would like to congratulate all the 8 participants for your powerful speeches, and we believe that all of you did your best to justify your says. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Surekha Dangwal, to kindly come upon stage and enlighten us with her valuable words.
Thank you so much. I extend a very warm welcome to all of you in this Gaura Devi National Debate Competition, second edition. I'm really thankful to Sanjeev Chopra ji for making this debate, which we institutionalized last year as Gaura Devi National Debate Competition. I was a bit worried about it last year when I thought that Gaura Devi, जो बहुत बड़ा नाम है, उनके नाम पे कुछ होना चाहिए, और ये कह दिया कि अब हर साल होगा, और सेकंड जो ये एडिशन था इसका पता नहीं था कि ये कैसे होगा, एंड संजीव चोपड़ा जी आए और उन्होंने कहा एक डिबेट कंपटीशन करवाना है। मैंने कहा इसमें गौरा देवी नाम जुड़ सकता है। विदाउट अ सेकंड थॉट ही एक्सेप्टेड एंड ही टोल्ड यस व्हाई नॉट। तो ये गौरा देवी जी की ब्लेसिंग्स है कि इसका सेकंड एडिशन इतने अच्छे तरीके से हुआ। और मैं यहाँ पर नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन से आए हमारे जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी श्री देवेंद्र जी का भी स्वागत भी करती हूँ, उनका आभार भी व्यक्त करती हूँ कि ये 3 जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, इंस्टीट्यूशंस की ही ज़्यादा बात हो रही है। गौरा देवी अपने आप में एक इंस्टीट्यूशन है, दून यूनिवर्सिटी उसके साथ जुड़ी है, वैली ऑफ फ्लावर है, वैली ऑफ वर्ड्स हैं, आज वैली ऑफ फ्लावर का ही नाम आ रहा है, वैली ऑफ वर्ड हैं, वो वैली ऑफ फ्लावर्स हैं। उन्होंने हमारे इतने यंग फ्लावर्स अपने साथ जोड़े हैं और इतना अच्छा काम संजीव जी करते हैं वैली ऑफ वर्ड्स के माध्यम से, और नेशनल ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन है। इस तरीके से ये 3 बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशन, जिसमें एक चौथा इंस्टीट्यूशन गौरा देवी जी का है, ये जुड़ा। और मैं ये चाहूँगी कि दून यूनिवर्सिटी गौरा देवी डिबेट, वैसे भी बहुत इंस्टीट्यूशन में नाउ इट इज़ कंसीडर्ड एज अ स्टैंडर्ड डिबेट, अपने सेकंड एडिशन में आते ही ये डिबेटर्स की एक चॉइस बनता जा रहा है। और मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले दिनों में सारे जो एस्पिरेंट्स होंगे, बोलने वाले होंगे, वो ये एस्पायर करेंगे कि दून यूनिवर्सिटी में ज़रूर जाना है गौरा देवी डिबेट कंपटीशन के लिए। सो इट विल बी कंसीडर्ड लाइक योर वर्धा डिबेट एंड वंस अपॉन अ टाइम इंदिरा गांधी ओपन डिबेट एंड लॉट ऑफ डिबेट्स वर देयर ड्यूरिंग आवर स्टूडेंट लाइफ। और शायद गौरा देवी को ऐसा हम देख सकें। इसके लिए मैं बार बार वैली ऑफ वर्ड्स का धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ और नेशनल ह्यूमन कमीशन का धन्यवाद करना चाहती हूँ। यहाँ पे जितने डिबेटर्स हमारे 8 पार्टिसिपेंट्स थे वो इन पर्सन इस फाइनल राउंड में आए। सभी लोग बहुत ही प्रभावशाली तरीके से बोले और ये एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसका नॉर्मली जो विपक्ष होता है वो बहुत पावरफुल होता है। आप लोगों ने इसका पक्ष बहुत पावरफुल बना दिया, इसके लिए आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई। और थोड़ा सा मैं अपनी ओर से एज एन ऑडियंस कहना चाहूँगी कि ये अनआंसर्ड है। स्टेट नेशन इज़ द बेस्ट गारंटर ऑफ ह्यूमन राइट्स, इफ़ नॉट देन हु इज़ द नेक्स्ट। तो ये जो हु इज़ द नेक्स्ट था ये थोड़ा अनआंसर्ड है और इसमें और भी डिबेट का तरीका और भी लॉजिक तरीके से और भी आगे किया जा सकता है। अगले वाले एडिशन में हम ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन के साथ मिलकर इस काम को करेंगे। एंड ये जो नेशन स्टेट का कॉन्सेप्ट के बारे में और आप लोगों के जो यंग जनरेशन है, 21st सेंचुरी जनरेशन है, उनकी जो क्लैरिटी है, सभी जितने ह्यूमन राइट के अधिकार हैं, आपने LGBTQ से लेकर जेंडर इक्वलिटी से लेकर और जो बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स हैं, रोहिंग्या का भी यहाँ पे जिक्र आया, बहुत सारी ऐसी कम्युनिटीज़ का कि जिनके पास स्टेट नहीं होता, जिनके पास वो सॉवरेनिटी नहीं होती, जिनके पास बाउंड्रीज नहीं होती, और जो शरणार्थी होते हैं उनको पूछिए कि कितनी इम्पोर्टेंस है नेशन स्टेट की। और अभी हमारे जो उत्तराखंड में सिलक्यारा टनल में 41 मजदूर फंस गए और उनके ह्यूमन राइट, उनकी जो वेलबींग था वो ऑल ऑफ ए सडन पूरे नेशन की प्रायोरिटी में था कि टनल जाए तो जाए, कुछ हो तो हो, एक चीज़ बचनी चाहिए, वो मज़दूरों की ज़िंदगी बचनी चाहिए। उनका ह्यूमन राइट है, उनका बेसिक राइट है, जीने का जो उनका अधिकार है वो बचना चाहिए। और पूरी मशीनरी स्टेट की उसको बचाने में लग गई, पूरा देश उसको बचाने में लग गया। तो जब आप एक एक व्यक्ति को, कई बार आप बाढ़ में देखते हैं, वैसे जो दूसरा पक्ष है वैसे मर जाते हैं, लेकिन जब आप फेस देखते हैं नेशन स्टेट का कि बीच बाढ़ में एक मजदूर फंस गया और पूरा सेना का हेलीकॉप्टर आया और फिर उसको उठाया जा रहा है, लिफ्ट किया जा रहा है, और फिर लगता है कि इस 1.5 अरब की आबादी में एक भी जान, इट इज़ द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी ऑफ अ नेशन स्टेट टू प्रोटेक्ट द लाइफ ऑफ इट्स सिटीजन। So we have to see the things in this context also कि हम बहुत ही गौरवान्वित होते हैं जब हम एक देश के नागरिक होते हैं। विवेकानंद जी का आपको पता है कि जब वो पूरी यात्राएं करके आए तो बहुत टाइम तक बीच में बस लौटते रहे और ये कहते रहे बस मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है। और जब आप लंबे समय तक, आप में बहुत सारे लोग विदेश जाते हैं, लंबे समय तक विदेश में आपका प्रवास होता है, तो ये अनुभूति आपको अपने देश में आके हमेशा होती है। आप फिर ये नहीं देखते कि उनका एयरपोर्ट और आपका, उनकी सड़क और आपकी सड़क, उस समय नहीं। आजकल तो सोचते हैं आप जब लंबा समय हो जाता है तो आप उस बात को करते हैं, एज ए सिटीजन वो बात करनी भी चाहिए। लेकिन जब आप एक लंबे प्रवास के बाद आते हैं, आपको यहाँ कुछ भी खराब नहीं लगता, न यहाँ की भीड़, न यहाँ का ट्रैफिक, न आपको लगता है कहीं आ गए, अपने देश में आ गए। तो ये जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, जो एक सिटीजन होने का हमारे ऊपर गर्व होता है, मैं अपने ह्यूमन राइट कमीशन को भी आभार व्यक्त करना चाहती हूँ, उनका बहुत साधुवाद देना चाहती हूँ कि आपने इस बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक पे यहाँ पर हमारी जो यूथ है उसको एक बार विचार करने का मौका दिया। सारे लोग यहाँ पर आए। कल से दून यूनिवर्सिटी के एग्ज़ाम शुरू हैं, एंड सेमेस्टर एग्ज़ाम शुरू हैं, और आज संडे भी था, कल भी यहाँ पर एक बहुत बड़ा कार्यक्रम हुआ था। तो इस कारण से जितने भी लोग, जितने भी क्वालिटी पीपल यहाँ पर आए हैं, क्योंकि कई बार आप संख्या नहीं देखते, कई बार आप थिंकर्स को देखते हैं, क्रिटिकल थिंकर्स को देखते हैं कि अगर एक भी बच्चा इस बारे में सोच पा रहा है कि व्हाट इज़ द डेफिनेशन ऑफ नेशन स्टेट, और एक बच्चा उसको जो कंस्ट्रक्ट की बात कर रहा था कि इट इज़ अ कल्चरल कंस्ट्रक्ट, इट इज़ अ सोशल कंस्ट्रक्ट, तो ये बहुत सारी ऐसी पॉलिटिकल थियरीज़ हैं, बहुत सारे ऐसे नैरेटिव्स हैं जिसको यूथ को समझना बहुत आवश्यक है। 21st सेंचुरी में आप लोगों ने इसको समझा। और मैंने सेमीफाइनल में मुझे चेतना मैडम ने, आई एम रियली थैंकफुल टू आवर डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंग्लिश, और अदिति और चेतना और गजाला जो इसको आगे लेके गए। और बहुत बहुत मैं यहाँ पर थैंक्स भी करना चाहूँगी अपनी मास कम्युनिकेशन की लड़कियों को भी, डॉक्टर नितिन को, प्रोफेसर राजेश कुमार उनके हेड और डीन यहाँ पर बैठे हैं, और उनकी पूरी टीम को। उन्होंने बहुत ही उत्साह से इसका इतना अच्छा क्वार्टर फाइनल और सेमीफाइनल और आज फाइनल का आप लाइव कर रहे हैं। बहुत इनपुट उन्होंने दिए, बहुत सारा अपना एफर्ट इसमें लगाया, और सारे बच्चे इसमें लगे हैं रात दिन। उनका भी मैं बहुत ही आभार व्यक्त करना चाहती हूँ कि आपने इसको एक सक्सेसफुल डिबेट, जिस दिन संजीव जी ने कहा मुझे तो ज़्यादा कुछ समझ आया नहीं कि पहले प्री क्वार्टर होगा, फिर क्वार्टर होगा, फिर मैं बीच में पूछ रही थी कितने आए, तो मैडम ने कहा 100 से पार चले गए। मैंने कहा अब इतनों का आप कब करेंगे? उन्होंने कहा सब हो रहा है, सब हम संजीव जी को पूछते जा रहे हैं और अपना काम करते जा रहे हैं। ये इतनी अच्छी तरीके से सिस्टमेटिकली इतनी बड़ी डिबेट को, इतने इंस्टीट्यूशंस को आपने इसमें बुलाया, तो आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन बहुत अच्छा था, बहुत अच्छा इसमें पार्टिसिपेशन था। सेमीफाइनल में मुझे लगा कि मुझे जाना चाहिए, और मैंने कहा, मैं मैडम से कहा मैं जाऊंगी, और मैं 5 मिनट, आपने कहा है कि जजेस को आपको ऑनर करना है, और वैली ऑफ वर्ड्स ने हमको एक बुक दी थी, एक किट दिया था, वो उनको देना है, और मैंने कहा मुझे बहुत काम है, मैं वापस आ जाऊंगी। एंड यू वोंट बिलीव, मैं एक बच्चे का सुना, फिर इन्हीं में से वो बच्चे थे जो उस दिन सेलेक्ट हुए, फिर मुझे लगा एक और सुन के जाती हूँ, और मेरे आने के बाद मुझे बताया गया कि केवल एक बच्चे की स्पीच रह गई थी, केवल एक का डिबेट रह गया था। मैंने सारे के सारे अटेंड किए। इट वाज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, बहुत अच्छे राउंड आपके चल रहे थे, और जो वात्सल्य ग्रुप ने इसको कंडक्ट कराने में मदद की, आई एम रियली थैंकफुल, आई एम ओवरवेल्म्ड कि गौरा देवी का 2nd एडिशन आज सक्सेसफुली अपने फाइनल राउंड में होते हुए मैं जस्टिस यूसी ध्यानी जी का भी बहुत बहुत हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि जुडिशरी का जिक्र हुए बिना ह्यूमन राइट का जिक्र नहीं हो सकता। दे आर द बेस्ट गारंटर। अगर विद इन स्टेट भी आप किसी की बात करें तो आर जुडिशरी ऑफ our nation, at least our India, is the best guarantor of human right. तमाम ऐसे स्वर्णिम आदेश सजे पड़े हैं जुडिशरी के इतिहास में, जिन्होंने आगे बढ़ के ह्यूमन राइट को प्रोटेक्ट किया, और अपना वो जो एक फेथ आज भी किसी सिटीजन को किसी पे है तो वो अपनी जुडिशरी पे है। आपका बहुत बहुत वेलकम। और सुधांशु जी का बिल्कुल 11th आवर में उनको बहुत एक इम्पॉर्टेंट काम आया, उन्होंने अपना मैसेज भी दिया है, उनका भी हम आभार व्यक्त करना चाहते हैं। और सारे लोग जो इसमें जुड़े, हमारे फैकल्टी मेंबर, हमारे DR लाल साहब, बहुत दिन से यहाँ प्रोग्राम हो रहे हैं, वो हर प्रोग्राम को कंडक्ट कराने में अपना सहयोग दे रहे हैं। हमारे असिस्टेंट रजिस्ट्रार भी यहाँ पर हैं। सारे लोगों का बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you so much, Honorable Vice Chancellor Ma'am, for your kind words. As Ma'am has already mentioned, our chief guest of the day could not be here because of some official commitments, but he has sent a very special message and his best wishes to us. So I would like to request our technical team to kindly play the special message by Justice Tulia.
When you are getting this recorded message, it is 10th December, which is the Human Rights Day, and I congratulate both the Doon University and the Valley of Words for organizing this debate competition, and particularly so for doing that in the name of Gaura Devi, one of our leaders of Chipko movement. They also need to be congratulated for having so thoughtfully chosen different facets of human rights, such as whether the state is the best guarantee of human rights, and human rights in the perspective of the new cases which have come up. I also therefore want to speak about two concepts of human rights which are a part of our constitution, which are a part of our constitutional value, and these would be fraternity, and the second would be human dignity, which springs from fraternity itself. But before I do that, I'd like to speak a few words about the Human Rights Day itself. Now, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, UDHR as it's well known, was accepted by the General Assembly of the United Nations on December 10, 1948 in Paris. There were 58 members of United Nations at that time. 48 voted in its favor, including our own country. 8 abstained and 2 did not vote. Now, UDHR is one of the most important documents, a milestone in the entire history of civil rights movement world over. And the unique aspect of human rights, this document is that it does not address any religion or a country or a system. It addresses humanity itself. It speaks of human beings and the rights they have, the inalienable rights which a human being is born with, such as equality, fraternity, dignity. And then it speaks about abolition of slavery and so on and so forth. We must also remember that this was done when the entire world was waking up, was recovering from the destruction and horrors of the Second World War. In the Second World War, we had lost about nearly 75 million human lives, and majority of these lives were civilian. So it was written at that time when the value of humanity, when the value of human dignity, when the value of brotherhood was being understood. UDHR has 30 articles, and as I've said, it speaks about various aspects, speaks about equality, abolition of slavery, and many other aspects. I'll just read one article for you in order to get a sense of what the document itself is. Article 1 says, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in spirit of brotherhood. Please mark the word dignity here. Now, after this document was accepted by the United Nations, this document, the human rights document, has become a North Star, a beacon light for many of the nations who were also waking up at that time from the shackles of colonial rule and were in the process of framing their own constitution. One of them was our own country. And when we look at our own constitution itself, it has been inspired to a large extent on this document, human rights document. Part 3 also speaks about equality, liberty, dignity, and so on and so forth. Now, as I have said, I'll speak about 2 aspects which, in my view, are part of human rights and a part of constitutional values. First is the fraternity. Now, what is fraternity? As we all know, fraternity, is there in the Constitution in the very preamble itself. Preamble speaks about 4 concepts: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. Now, justice comes first. But apart from justice, the 3 concepts of liberty, equality, and fraternity are largely inspired from the French Revolution. The triptych of the French Revolution, as it's called: liberty, equality, fraternity. But as all students of political science and constitutional law would know, as most of you are, whereas liberty and equality are very well-known concepts and very well understood. I mean, our own laws, which have been framed on human rights, are largely based on Article 21, which is on liberty. But somewhere in the way, I mean, if you see liberty, equality, and fraternity as 3 human beings who were progressing on their way from the French Revolution, then we find that liberty and equality have reached their destination. They have gained a prominence. They are very well understood. But fraternity somehow got lost somewhere. It is only in the recent past, let's say in last 100 years or so, that the concept of fraternity is again being talked about. And it is there in the Constitution, in the very preamble itself. And most of the credit of this should go to Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. And for Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, fraternity was something which could, where if without fraternity there couldn't have been equality or even liberty. Because according to Dr. Ambedkar, if there is too much of liberty, it will somewhere suppress equality, and the reverse is also true. If there's too much equality, it will also suppress liberty. This is what Dr. Ambedkar says in one of his articles. He says, the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity are not to be treated as separate items in a trinity. They form a union of trinity in the sense that to divorce one from the other is to defeat the very purpose of democracy. Liberty cannot be divorced from equality. Equality cannot be divorced from liberty. Nor can liberty and equality be divorced from fraternity. Without equality, liberty would produce the supremacy of the few over the many. Equality without liberty would kill individual initiative. Without fraternity, liberty and equality would not become a natural course of things. It would require a constable to enforce them. So fraternity is brotherhood or sisterhood, fellow feeling. The Hindi translation of fraternity is wonderful. The Hindi translation of fraternity is bandhutva. Dr. Ambedkar even takes it further. He says that in fraternity, what he exactly says is, what sustains equality and liberty is fellow feeling. What the French revolutionaries called fraternity, the word fraternity is not an adequate expression. The proper term is what Buddha called, which is Maitre. Therefore, fraternity has a very important bearing in our constitution. It is a great constitutional value. And springing from fraternity, again, the concept of human dignity. In the preamble, fraternity is human dignity and, of course, unity and integrity of the nation. Now, what is dignity? Again, if you read, and I'm sure most of you must have already read it, in the recent years, many of the judgments which have come from the Supreme Court, like the law of privacy, Puthuswamy case, and the two other judgments of Justice Chandrachud, Babita Phukan case and another on inclusion of women in service, they speak of human dignity and many others. But if you really want to be sensitized about this concept of human dignity, then in my view, more than the scholarly articles and judgments and scholarly books, you'll have to depend or you'll have to read more of literature, poetry, and most of all cinema. If you see the cinema of that time, for example, if you see cinema of Satyajit Ray, then you'll realize what human dignity is. Every character in his films, particularly women, have that human dignity. The first film which he made, Pather Panchali, is on human values, on human dignity. There is a character in it called Pishi, an old woman. I mean, she's belongs to the poorest of the poor stratum of society, but even she has her dignity. Similarly, when you see the films of Vittoria De Sica, for example, Bicycle Thief. Recently, I saw a film of Vittoria De Sica called Umbrato D, which is about a middle-aged man living a difficult life after the Second World War in Rome, and he is impoverished, he is poor, he is hungry, yet he has a sense of dignity, and how he treats others in that moment as well, and how he likes to be treated. So, if you really want to understand dignity or human dignity, I think more than the law books, you'll have to go to literature and other art forms. So I thank all of you for having invited me to be a part of this debate in one way or the other. Sanjeev and Rashmi are very old friends. I also congratulate the Vice Chancellor of Doon University and all the participants, the students, and particularly Valley of Words, Shabdavali. Best of luck to all of you.
I would like to thank Justice Thulia for your kind words. Your presence in form of this special message is highly appreciated, sir. Now, I would like to request our dignitaries to kindly come upon stage and settle down here because we have the address and the prize distribution ceremony after this. So I would request Honorable Justice U.C. Dhyani, Devendra Kumar Nim, sir, Sanjeev Chopra, sir, Professor H.C. Purohit, and Rashmi Chopra, ma'am, to kindly come upon stage. Now, I would like to request our Honorable Guest of Honor for the day, Honorable Justice UC Dihani, to kindly come up on stage and enlighten us with your kind words.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. Good afternoon and welcome everybody. Mr. Devendra Kumar Min of the National Human Rights Commission, who is also the guest of honor. Mr. Sanjeev Chopra, the personality to whom I know for the last 23 years, and probably, but for 2 or 3 people, he is the only person to whom I know in the crowd. Mrs. Rashmi Chopra, Anuradha ji, I had talks with her yesterday to find out whether I have been invited in the program or not, because I was only I got only the telephonic message from Mr. Sanjeev Chopra that you have to, are you available at Dehradun on Sunday? I replied in the affirmative. Therefore, I thought that yes, since Honorable Justice Dhulia is online, therefore I am offline. But in the evening, I received a telephone call from 2-3 faculty members. I'm thankful to all of them. Mr. Dobhal, Mr. Narendra Lal, who served with me in the Uttarakhand Judicial and Legal Academy. I was the director there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my proud privilege to be here to address the gathering on the human rights. The topic has been debated by the debaters in the wonderful way they could make. I mean, they are youngsters, boys and girls, are students of various universities. Had I been there in their age, I would not have performed so well in the manner they have performed, extremely well. I have put in, I am in the judicial service since the age of 23. I am still continuing in the judicial system. I'll share some of my views, some of my thoughts, which I come across while holding the court. But first of all, I congratulate the organizers who have started the function with the program on, the special program on Gaura Devi. The conflict of interest, whenever there will be human beings, there will be crisis, confusion, conflict of interest, disputes. And that is why we are here. The judiciary is here to resolve those conflicts with the intervention of the government, the state. So, NHRC, Vatsala, Valley of Words, the Doon University, they are all responsible for organizing this program. The debaters spoke for and against. This is like a swings of pendulum. Sometimes you come to extreme right, sometimes you come to extreme left, and the balance is somewhere in between. So, to my mind, neither the motion in favor nor the motion in the against can be said to be the correct picture of the human rights. What are the human rights? As Honorable Mr. Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, who spoke about the two concepts of fraternity and human dignity. In fact, we had his father's memorial lecture a few days ago. Mr. Sanjeev Chopra was there. There, the essay competition and debate competition was also there. And the essay was on fraternity under the Constitution of India. The debate was on human dignity. Coincidentally, I was also there on both the occasions. I had the privilege to hear the audience there also. Probably 1-2 students are here today as well. Human dignity. We are all human beings. I'll start with basics. We are all human beings, born free, but everywhere we are in chains. There are some inherent or inalienable rights attached to human beings, and they are the human rights. They are not absolute rights. I said that sometimes the pendulum will swing to the right, sometimes to the left, and sometimes, ultimately it will come somewhere in between. You have to strike a balance everywhere. Reason and passion, technique and power, nerve and judgment, and still appeal to all the tastes. Maintain a balance, strike a balance. So is the case with human rights. They are not absolute rights. When I was coming from my residence in the morning with Ayush Kurian, who was sent by the university, Madam Pokhriyal, to escort me, 2-3 things came to my mind. And one is, when I was passing through IMA, I said that yes, if I, as a soldier, if I am general of the Indian Army, I kill somebody, a member of enemy country, I don't commit any crime. Because that is my nationalism, that is my patriotism. Law permits me to kill any enemy member of any enemy country in the war. No human right violation. But if somebody is captured there in the war, he surrenders, waves the white flag, then I am not required to kill him. That is POW, prisoner of war. He is to be treated with human dignity. That is in the Geneva Convention. All international conferences and conventions provide for that. Likewise, when I was traveling through the road, I was reminded of an essay which I read in my college days, and that was on the rule of the road. On the rule of the road, and the author was A.G. Gardner. He says that we have created this rule to take to our left so that there may not be head-on collision. If everybody says that I have right to movement on the road, free and fair movement, that will curtail the notion of civilized society. We have to maintain rule of law in any country, especially in a democracy. And the third is Gaura Devi. Contractor said, this is my right to cut the trees according to the contractors. But then the ladies, the women folk of Gopeshwar and Chamoli, they said no. Right to environment is our fundamental right. So whenever the interests clash, there is bound to be confusion, dispute, and that is ultimately resolved in favor of the human rights, which are not absolute. Even the right to freedom of speech and expression is not an absolute right. We have, in our constitution, there are reasonable restrictions. Something which amounts to contempt of court is not permissible. Something which deteriorates our relations with foreign countries is not permissible. So even freedom of speech and expression is not absolute. I'll give you another example. That is Article 21. No person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Had there been the words, no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty. Now imagine, this is the constitutional guarantee, no person shall be deprived of life or personal liberty. And somebody kills somebody. Then no arrest, no trial. The person will plead that I have a right to life and personal liberty. But the article says, except according to the procedure established by law. Except according to the procedure established by law. Concept of human dignity is there. Human rights are there. But there are reasonable restrictions, objective restrictions. Now, if somebody commits some offense, then that man can be arrested, can be remanded can be sent to a judicial remand by the magistrate. Then he may be granted bail, he may be refused bail. Then trial. Even Ajmal Kasab, who was a Pakistani national, had to face the trial. Otherwise, what is the need of putting him to trial? He has committed the offense committed. Hang him to death. Why trial? Because everybody is entitled to human dignity. In our country, if any offense is committed outside by a foreign national, he will be treated as if he is an Indian national. The fundamental freedoms, we have two sets of rights, one for the citizens and the other for the nationals. This Article 21, which is a repository of human dignity, encompasses within its orbit everything. It is applicable to citizens. Now I'll give you an example. When I was a session judge in Nainital, one accused under the Gangsters Act was produced before me. I will not name him. So you know that there is embargo, there is a restriction on handcuffs and bar fetters. So that person, when he was produced before me as a session judge, he gave an application. I said, what is that application? He said that kindly, sir, pass an order on this application. And that application was that he should be handcuffed. Imagine an accused is giving an application that he should be handcuffed. And bar fetters should be applied to him. I said, I inquired from him, why have you moved this application? He replied that, sir, if you put bar fetters and if you direct the police to put handcuffs, then the police will not take an excuse that he was fleeing from justice, and otherwise I afraid that the police will eliminate me. The short point is that even an accused or even a violator cannot be, his human rights cannot be restricted otherwise than in due course of law. Honorable Justice Dhulia has told about human dignity again in his message. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So what is the essence? Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Absolutism, absolute, nothing is absolute. If you make anybody absolute, then he will misuse it. Therefore, the best thing is to strike a balance. There should always be reasonable restrictions. Then, even in offices, Mr. Sanjeev Chopra was the highest officer in government of West Bengal. Money is not honey, and the spoils of office are not funny. You can't say that, yes, I am a civil servant, therefore I will exercise all my powers as I wish. Although the discretion is there, but the discretion is always objective discretion, not subjective discretion. Law is always against arbitrariness. Arbitrariness is antithesis of reasonableness. As a public servant, if I am sitting as a judge, if he was sitting as an administrator, as a civil servant, if you are at the helm of affairs of the university, please try to see what is in the best interest of the public. What is reasonable? What is rule of law? How does the rule of law or the law permits me to exercise this discretion for or against the applicant? Admissions in universities based on some criteria. If we violate that criteria, that will be subjected to challenge in the writ petition before the Honorable High Courts and Supreme Courts. That will be set aside. And then everybody will accuse that, yes, judiciary is intervening unnecessarily in the affairs of the government. My dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we cross our limits, or whenever we tend to cross our limits, the law will step in, judiciary will step in and correct the mistakes. That is why the judiciary is there, to uphold the constitution and the laws. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist, secular democratic republic, justice, social, economic and political, and last on this 26th day of November 1949, we do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. Preamble contains the basic structure of the constitution. Keshwanand Bharati, we are celebrating 50th year this year, 50th anniversary. That the legislators, parliamentarians, lawmakers can do everything, can amend the constitution, but for the basic structure of the constitution. So, if you look at the things broadly, nothing is absolute. I mean, nothing, you can't exercise any power arbitrarily. You have to be objective. You have to be reasonable. Whether as a judge, whether as a civil servant, whether as a university, holding the university affairs, or whether NHRC. NHRC, that Unnao case, ultimately that the policeman, that hooligan who killed 7 policemen was shot dead. Honorable Justice Sirpurkar, if I am correct, one-man inquiry commission, probably on Kanpur, Unnao incident or somewhere else, Kanpur Dehat incident, and held that the policemen were responsible. So, another incident of rape in Telangana or Hyderabad, where the gang rape committed by hooligans, miscreants, they were shot dead by the policemen. They were garlanded. Public was very happy. They said that they are demigods for us. So that is the public feeling. Whenever the offenses, the crimes will be committed by somebody, the public outcry will always be against the crime. That is the hallmark of civilized society. We are all civilized society. We are in a democracy, democratic republic. If we don't uphold the rule of law, who else will uphold the rule of law? I'm not talking about the other countries, because the debaters spoke about the other countries. You see, our system is different. Alexander Pope, in one of his essays, wrote a poem for forms of government. For forms of government, let the fools contest. Whatever is best administered is best. Nani Palkiwala said, another couplet, is this the cost of freedom we fought for? Too many laws and too little justice, too much administration and too little governance. Everybody, I mean, public outcry. You should feel, we should feel the nerves of the government, nerves of the people, we the people of India. Ultimately, what for we are here? What for the judges are here, and what for the public servants are here, what for the university authorities are here? For the people of India. Ultimately, we are accountable to the people. People are not accountable to us. People have not to gratify our egos. We have to see that the people are well served, and only then the democracy will survive in this country. There is a case, Joginder Kumar, 1994. Supreme Court, 1994. They said that the quality of a nation's civilization can be best measured by the methods it uses to enforce the criminal law machinery. If you want to, why those who are the students of law, why 25, 26, 27 Indian Evidence Act? Why the confession in the police custody is inadmissible in India? Why the confession before the police officer is admissible in UK? Sir James Stephen, who was the draftsman of Indian Evidence Act, was a British national. In England, if I commit some crime, go to a constable and say, sir, I have committed this offense. He will just write down in the GD, the general diary, that so-and-so came to me and confessed his guilt. No further corroboration is required in England. But before drafting the Indian Evidence Act, Sir James Stephen and his company traveled India for every nook and corner of India for 22 years. 22 years, imagine. And then they said that, yes, police is accustomed to use third-degree methods to extract confession. So the Indian Evidence Act, which is applicable to us, states that no confession made to a police officer is admissible. No confession made by a person, by an accused in police custody is admissible, except to the extent, section 27, that any statement which leads to the recovery of some incriminating article, only that statement can be read. This concept of human rights is not new. Yesterday I was just going through some pages. Battle of Hydaspes. Alexander and Porus. Porus was defeated, made captive. Alexander asked him, tell me, Porus, how should you be treated by me? The Porus replied that in the same manner as a king treats another king. And then Alexander released him. There was a treaty signed between both of them. His person was freed. Porus. Another instance of human rights. Otherwise, mighty Alexander might have made him captive, guillotined, killed. Who was going to take care of human rights and human dignity? But then, it was the concept of human dignity. Whenever I speak in such forums, and especially today when I am speaking on the human rights, then 5 things, as a public servant, as a judge, 5 things, 5 elements we have to apply. Rudyard Kipling was a poet. Rudyard Kipling, and he wrote a poem, I have 6 honest serving men, and they have taught me all I know. And they are what, where, why, whom, how, and when. If you want to be reasonable in any sphere, please apply these 6 honest serving men. What, where, why, whom, how, and when. And only then you can say that, yes, I have taken a correct judgment, correct decision. Transparency is the hallmark of democracy. And that is the touchstone for human rights also, human dignity also. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. It is now, this live streaming of the cases in the Supreme Court is another illustration of sunlight is the best disinfectant. Transparency, as opposed to confidentiality. If as a public servant, as a judge, I am transparent, then the people will like me, to uphold the concept of we the people of India. And before I conclude, 3 things more. Ladies and gentlemen, there is crisis of credibility in the society. A patient went to a hospital, multi-specialty hospital, and asked the receptionist, I want to see a doctor who is a specialist in eyes and ears. Eyes and ears. The receptionist was taken by surprise. She said that, sir, we have an expert specialist of eyes and another is specialist of ENT, ear, nose, and throat. We have no such specialist who deals with eyes and ears. But then, why are you in need of such a specialist? The reply of the patient was, Madam, the problem is that nowadays I don't see what I hear, and I don't hear what I see. I don't see what I hear, and I don't hear what I see. There is a dichotomy. There is crisis of credibility in the society. Therefore, as a public servant, we have to see that there is confidence in the society. And last but not the least, I said that when I was coming from IMA, 2-3 sentences came to my mind and I wrote them down. फर्ज और फर्जी में केवल एक मात्रा का फर्क है. आई एम रीडिंग इट. फर्ज और फर्जी में केवल एक मात्रा का फर्क है. फर्जी कहता है देश के संदर्भ में, मैं खुद तो बच के आ जाऊंगा। फर्जी कहता है मैं खुद तो बच के आ जाऊंगा, मगर तिरंगे को गिरवी रख कर आऊंगा। फर्जी बोलता है। एंड व्हाट आवर कैडेट सेज, व्हाट आवर this patriotic fervor says, because yesterday there was a passing out parade in IMA. Therefore, मगर सैनिक का फर्ज कहता है कि या तो तिरंगा लहरा के आऊंगा या तिरंगे में लिपट कर आऊंगा। एंड we the people of India should be the saviors of our beloved country, its constitution, and treat fellow countrymen with human dignity. Let us redeem our pledge on this occasion. And last but not the least, where the mind is without fear, Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the society is not fragmented into narrow domestic walls. In this country of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Thank you very much. I have taken a lot of your time. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। अब मैं हमारे सम्मानित अतिथि श्री देवेंद्र कुमार निम, संयुक्त सचिव NHRC को आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूं कि कृपया पोडियम पर आएं और अपने बहुमूल्य शब्दों से हमें अवगत कराएं।
Honorable Justice Sri Sudhanshu Dhulia ji, today's program's chief guest, who is not here but address us virtually. Address us virtually, that's why I'm saying. Honorable Justice UC Dhyani, respected Sri Sanjeev Chopra ji, respected Vice Chancellor, Doon University, Dr. Professor Surekha Dangwal ji, all the dignitaries on dais, esteemed faculty from Doon University, all the students, and of course the today's debate competition's participants. A very good afternoon. I thought that I will say very good morning, but now it is very good afternoon. As Honorable Justice UC Dhyani has included entire gamut of the human rights in his address, so I will be short because I can see your faces also who are trying to just go for the lunch, and this is lunch time also, so I will not take too much time of yours. Today we have assembled here to celebrate, of course, the debate competition and also Human Rights Day, because this is the 75th anniversary of the Human Rights Day today. In 98, Justice Dhulia has also mentioned that 75 years ago, we adopted this Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It is the day to remember 3 women reformers also. One is, of course, Gaura Devi. I will say Ma Gaura Devi because she has fought for an environment. During that period, and I also think that she was not too much literate, who was knowing about the environment impact. And we can see that what she anticipated decades ago, we can see the impact. Now we have observed 2015's Kedarnath tragedy and what happened in Uttarkashi and what is happening now in Silkyara. All these are environment impact adverse. So she anticipated decades ago. I would also like to remember on this auspicious day, on the Human Rights Day, one of our pioneer women reformers, Srimati Hansa Mehta ji. I think how many of you have heard about this. She was the lady who was the part of delegation of Human Rights Commission and she ensured that in place of man, because the language which was going to be adopted by the Human Rights Commission, Universal Human Rights Commission, it was men are born equal and free. But she ensured that it should be human beings are born equal and free. So she was the lady from India who was part of delegation. Due to her hard work and due to her adamant approach, it was adopted human beings in place of men are born free and equal. And one more reformer who have been part of this human rights delegation in United Nations General Assembly was Lakshmi Menon. She was also a very good reformer, and she also ensured that all the rights, when we are adopting all the 30 articles, that she ensured that in each article, wherever it is relevant, it should be ensured that men and women are given equal opportunity, equal rights. This is the day, and we should salute to all these ladies, because when we talk about the human rights, obviously women's human rights are paramount for us, and National Human Rights Commission also ensuring that we are having a lot of debates about the women's protection, women's human rights. I am thankful to Valley of Words and Doon University also to make National Human Rights Commission part of this excellent debate on human rights. And I am really impressed with all the finalists of this debate today, all the 8 participants who were very good. I think they were very good, and they have worked hard to prepare for this debate. And I would like to invite them to be part of National Human Rights Commission. You should be our part, like you can become human rights defenders, or you can be in our core group, because you have done a lot of hard work. And one of the participants I am most impressed, I am saying this, if the jury, all the 3 members they have already decided that who is first, and my speech, my sentence will not bias that. The girl who was the last participant, I am really impressed with that girl. She has done very good work, and she has prepared all the aspects of, when she must be preparing, she has prepared all the aspects of human rights. I am very impressed. All the other participants were very excellent, very outstanding, but last 8th girl, she was very good, because I can see, I have observed that how much she has worked for this. I am again saying that it should not be biased, my sentence should not be biased, because they must have already decided that. Okay, thank you, sir. Now, Human Rights Commission, because one of the participants was saying that Human Rights Commission, National Human Rights Commission is not having any teeth, and they're only recommendatory. This is okay that we have recommendation, we issue guidelines, we issue advisories to the state governments and various organizations on various topics of human rights violation. But I would like to say, with due permission of Honorable Justice U.C. Dhyani, that what one of the debaters also said, that about 94-95% recommendations, he was saying 98%, are implemented by all the organizations of Human Rights Commission. And during last 30 years, we have done a lot of work that during last 30 years, because it came into existence in 1993 on 12th October, Human Rights Commission, National Human Rights Commission has resolved 22 lakh cases in last year, and we have declared, we have recommended 230 crores, 230 crore rupees compensation to victims. Even during last year, 2022, we received 83,000 complaints of human rights violations, and we resolved about 85,000, including 3,000 of previous year. We resolved 85,000 complaints of human rights violation in 2020 itself, which comes about 25-30 complaints daily. And you can see the human rights violation complaints are not simple. that you are complaining and they are doing. We have to deal with the state authorities, we have to deal with police authorities, we have to deal with doctors, post-mortem report, whether it is case of custodial death or torture by police, state authorities, etc. So how much work we have to do in this dealing and resolving even one complaint, it takes a lot of time. Our team goes to state like thanas and where the incident has occurred for the sport inquiries. So it takes too much time. So we have done too much, and we have also developed an online portal. I think how many of you must be knowing that we have developed an online portal in which anyone can lodge complaint from anywhere, and their complaints are immediately treated. We expedite that it is resolved within the lesser time, so that because it is a human right related complaint and we cannot take too much time in resolving that. But I would say we are doing a lot of things, but still lot of things have to be done, and that can be done when we come together. And National Human Rights Commission, when we are issuing anything, I would also like to say that government is also doing a lot of things, whether it is triple talaq enactment, legislature enactment, or any other privacy law. When the government is coming up with the legislature is coming up, they are coming with a, after having debate with the civil society organization, after having debate with the non-governmental organizations, individuals, government agencies. So we cannot say that what was the topic of debate, I am coming on that. We cannot say that only nation state is doing themselves or authorities, sovereign authorities are doing themselves. No, they are having debate with all the stakeholders. Then they are coming with a legislation. So they have also done lot of things, but still lot of things are to be done, and government alone cannot do. We all have to come together, and we have to ensure that all the human rights of all individuals are protected and promoted. We are also having awareness, and National Human Rights Commission is also having lot of awareness programs. We are sponsoring moot court competition in the law universities, law colleges. We are also sponsoring, collaborating with the training institute, with various universities, colleges, to conduct collaborative training programs on human rights. We are also having photography competitions, short film competitions. We are doing a lot of things. So you come forward, connect with us. We invite all the academic institutions also to conduct trainings, collaborative trainings. We will sponsor these trainings so that all the public on the mass level are made aware about the human rights and how National Human Rights Commission works, how any individual can lodge their complaint. So we need to come together and ensure that all the human rights are protected and there is no violation of human rights. So thank you very much. Once again, I thank Valley of Words and Doon University to invite us to make their part for this excellent debate competition on this very Human Rights Day. And we are also celebrating 75th years of Human Rights Day. Thank you very much all.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Manoj Manekar, our judge for the day, to give his feedback on the behalf of the jury.
Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity. लेकिन मेरे भी पेट में चूहे कूद रहे हैं. I'll skip a few formalities. Dignitaries on the dais and my dear young friends. I won't. मेरे पास भी टाइम नहीं है क्योंकि मुझे भी जिस काम को आपको करना है वो भी मुझे भी करना है. First things first. I totally agree with
Honorable Justice Dhyani, when he said, अगर हमारा ज़माना होता शायद हम इस लेवल पे नहीं आ पाते, and I totally agree with him. Of course, I'm not from an academic field. I'm just a producer broadcaster. But I totally agree with him. Even I could not have done it. And hence, I stand today in front of you, all nervous like a candidate. जब मैं candidate शब्द बोल रहा हूँ तो मैं अपने आप को compliment भी कर रहा हूँ. जब मैं दिल्ली से गाड़ी में आया हूँ, यूनिवर्सिटी में गेट पर रोका गया मुझे और बहुत अदब से पूछा गया आप कैंडिडेट हैं क्या, तो आई टेक इट एज अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट. हैविंग सेड दैट, बुकेज के साथ ब्रिक बैट्स देने की ब्रॉडकास्टर्स को आदत होती है, वो पेशा है हमारा. माय टू ऑब्जर्वेशंस आर, मैं विषय वस्तु थीम की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. द कंटेंट वाज फैंटास्टिक and I mean there were many things that I could learn from you that way. But having said that, when you cater to a larger audience, now I'm not just restricting myself to debates alone. There could be declamations, there could be elocutions, there could be other platforms. The speed of delivery is something many of you will have to, because मुझ जैसा एक दो बार some things went over my head just because I have this habit of looking at syntax. Number of words per minute का ध्यान अगर नहीं रखा आपने तो हो सकता है कि person X might not understand. So ये एक चीज़ है which you can work upon. It's not very difficult. Two, यहाँ पर मैं organizationally अपना ये दे रहा हूँ. ये बात आपसे कोई नहीं कहेगा. Generally speaking, this is out of fashion now. But diction is something which the organization that I come from, वहाँ पे माफ़ी नहीं है इसके लिए. Now words like, I've noted just 10 words. It can be extrapolated to more words, but just by a way of example, for example, we are not allowed to say नमस्कार. हमारे यहाँ माफ़ी नहीं है उसके लिए, हमारे यहाँ नमस्कार ही बोलना पड़ता है. Okay? And I mean in Delhi. The next word was, somebody said khanjar. If you have to use a word from a particular language, then human rights की तरह उस ज़बान के भी अपने हुकूक होते हैं, उस भाषा के भी अपने अधिकार होते हैं और उसको रिस्पेक्टफुली आपको करना है. इट इज खंजर, नॉट खंजर. इट इज नॉट ग्रह युद्ध, इट्स गृह युद्ध. ठीक है, कई लोग गृह मंत्रालय बोलते हैं, हमारे यहाँ मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ प्लैनेट्स अभी तक तो नहीं बनी है. एट लास्ट काउंट अभी तक तो नहीं था. ठीक है, गृह मंत्रालय है. इट इज नॉट सामान्य, आइदर इट्स समान, कॉमन, और सामान्य, साधारण. नॉट विफल, विफल, फ, मतलब माइक फटना चाहिए, फ वाला, नॉट फ. नॉट मजबूत, मजबूत. गालिब में थोड़ा मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी आपको, नहीं तो आप उनका नाम ठीक से ले नहीं पाएंगे, और गहरा नुक्ता लगाना पड़ेगा आपको. उसी तरह से गलत, गलत. खामी, खामी. वायलेंस, नॉट वॉयलेंस, आपको स्पेलिंग चेंज करनी पड़ेगी उसकी. सॉवरेन, सॉवरेन. इतना कहकर मैं अपने पेट के चूहों के ह्यूमन राइट्स के बारे में अब आपसे अनुमति मैं ले सकता हूं, और क्या कर सकता हूं मैं. धन्यवाद. एंड थैंक यू फॉर द वंडरफुल अपॉर्चुनिटी.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your feedback. And now we finally come to the results. But before that, I would like to request all the 8 participants to kindly come up on the stage. I would also like to request all the 3 judges to come on stage. Valley of Words, Shabdavali have a special token of appreciation for all 8 of the participants. So I would request all the participants to please come on stage. And I would request Sanjeev Chopra sir to kindly give the token of appreciation to the students. Now we'll be moving forward to the results. Now, Valley of Words is giving a token of appreciation to all the 8 participants. So I would request Sanjeev sir to give the token of appreciation. Now we have the list of winners with us. So all the participants, I would request all the participants to come for the token of appreciation. Manisha Rawat, Akshat Kala, Rohit Singh Rawat, Satakshi Sharma, Sambhav Pratap Bhatt, sorry, Priya Singh, and we are left with one more, Anushka Chaudhary, and Shivani Thaplyal. And now it's time for the results. So first of all, in English category, the second position goes to Priya Singh. In English category, the first position goes to Sambhav Pratap Bhatt. पता नहीं है सर। अब हिंदी कैटेगरी में द्वितीय पुरस्कार जाता है मनीषा रावत जी को। और हिंदी कैटेगरी में प्रथम पुरस्कार जाता है शताक्षी शर्मा को। I request everyone to give a huge round of applause to all our winners and our participants.
So there is also a prize money of 31,000 to the first winner, and 21,000 for the second. So each category, right? So I think that will be taken care of in a while, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
And now, as we are coming to the end of this program, I would request Dr. Sanjeev Chopra sir to kindly give the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, friends. We are closer to lunch than ever before. And you know, the best part about being a debate, about being present in this debate, and I think I'll echo the sentiments of Justice Dhyani, Mr. Purohit and Devendra ji, that we were not judges in this debate because it would have been very difficult to judge this debate. I must compliment all the 8 participants for an absolutely wonderful debate, absolutely wonderful debate. It's been a real pleasure, and I think the beauty of a debate is the arguments, the counter-argument, and that's what a great democracy is about. That's what a great system of governance is about, and full marks, full compliments to all of you. Now, I will not speak much because I don't know what faults Manoj will find out, and then he'll stop inviting me to the All India Radio. But let me, at this point, thank all the 3 judges. Manoj has been with us, Sunita Vijay and Jyoti Dhawanji. Thank you very much for taking your time out and being with us, because ultimately it's the judges who make all the difference. They've listened to all the arguments, they've listened to the counter arguments, they looked into every aspect of it. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Department of English. A big round of applause. And I hope Chetna ji, Dr. Pokhriyal and Aditi and Gazala, why don't you come up here, because you deserve a big round of applause along with your volunteers, all those people from the English department who've been, you know, working on this all throughout. Come, please. And a big round of applause for Dr. Chetna Pokhriyal and her team, please. Beach mein, please. Beach mein. Yeah. Great. Great. Come. And the members of the Vatsalya team, why don't you go up? I mean, yeah, later, of course. First this. Yeah. So, big round of applause for the team. You know, this was a 4-square debate because there were 4 rounds, 4 subjects, you know, and we had 4 prizes, and it was an absolutely great, riveting round that we've had. So, full marks to them. Thank you very much. I now want the VoW volunteers to join us on stage. Come and join us, because behind every successful organization, there are these young volunteers. We are a volunteer-driven festival. So please come up on stage. Wonderful. A big round of applause for them. Great. I'd like to acknowledge and thank Bikram ji. Aap aa jaiye, because all the money that the participants, that the winners are going to get are going to come from the signature of Shri Bikram Singh ji. So if we don't acknowledge him, he may not give the money. So, you know, as they say that the money makes the mayor go, so we have to acknowledge and thank Mr. Bikram Singh. Several professors are here. Professor Harsh Tobal is here. Thank you very much. Anuradha ji. all the participants who are here. There are faculty members from various universities. Thank you very much. We must thank the Department of Computer Science, Dr. Anuj Thiman, Dr. Preeti Mishra, the School of Media and Communication, Dr. Rajesh Sharma, Dr. Nitin Kumar, the Registrar, Dr. M.S. Mandarwal, the Deputy Registrar, Shri Narendra Lal, and of course the Vice Chancellor, and the wonderful students of Doon University. I'm told there's a good lunch waiting for us because that's the fundamental human right. The most important right is the right to food, and both the legislation, the parliament, and the Supreme, and if we don't give you food, you can always complain to Mr. Devinder Singh. You say that his human rights are being violated. So friends, we look forward to the next year's debate, which will be even more interesting, which will have more arguments, more counter arguments, and we shall follow the rules of language as Manoj has suggested to us. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a beautiful day. It's been a beautiful afternoon. Thank you very much. And I can announce lunch now. Where are we going for lunch?